Good evening and welcome to round 10 of the ASR Development Series from the new and improved, well, hopefully improved, Surfers Paradise Street Circuit on the Gold Coast. I'm Lewis Wedding, and of course, joining me in the commentary box is NZ Snipes. Snipes, how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, Lewis. Looking forward to a good round. It's a tricky track here at Surfers Paradise. Notorious street track. Really tough chicanes. Walls are everywhere. I'm expecting a little bit of carnage, but looking forward to some good racing.
Yeah, each time we've raced this circuit, whether it be in the modern layout or through the old historic layout that we ran a couple of years ago, there's always been drama around this circuit. At least in the main Supercars series, Dev series, we will see how they do fare tonight. But yeah, it is always a circuit that can throw up a mixed result. Certainly some damaged cars, and definitely some controversy, as we've seen in real life as well. Just ask old Rick Kelly and Marcus Ambrose from many, many years ago. So here we are for the 10th round of the series. Drivers, I believe, still in the drivers' briefing at the moment, with still, I think, five or just under 5 minutes left in the current session. I'm not sure if that'll get run out or not, but either way, we've got a little bit of time here, Snipes, to just go over the circuit layout. And what are your key points of this racetrack outside of every corner? Because every corner around here, you can put it in the fence and ruin your race.
Yeah, look, it's all difficult, but realistically, the highlight and low light for some drivers of this circuit will be the chicanes. Turns one down through turn six as well. The front chicane, it's only one, two, three corners, but it is deadly. It can really, really bite. You need to attack it fast. The braking zone to it is quite difficult, but it's also one of the better overtaking opportunities on the spot if you can get a good run at the last couple of corners. Of course, the back chicane also incredibly notorious. You've got to go over four humps essentially, and they can be quite destabilizing to the car. But gonna want to be able to carry speed, because if you don't carry speed, turn 11 is definitely a spot for a move.
Yeah, turn 11 is going to be a big one for overtaking. So is turn 4 as well. Driver in front makes a slight mistake through that first chicane. If you nail it, you can just fire it down the inside. But if they see it coming, they can also defend there pretty easily as well. So track position, as with all street circuits, Snipes, pretty vital. But I think around this circuit, it's even more difficult to pass compared to some of the other street circuits we go to, where I guess there's a little bit more places for the driver behind at these other circuits to make a move. Say at the hairpin down there at Adelaide, you can also pass through the staircase if you game as well. And then at Townsville, you've got a number of places where you can pass and set up moves. Well, here, if the driver in front doesn't want to let you go because it's so narrow, you could be stuck there all race long.
Yeah, if you come up against someone who's quite defensive or knows where to put their car, it's certainly going to be a very, very big job to overtake someone here. It is notoriously hard. A lot of the time, you're going to be relying on the driver in front to make a mistake more than anything. If speed is reasonably even, nevertheless, but you never know. You never know exactly what will happen. I still suspect there will be moves being made all across the field. Qualifying is going to be quite tough to get in a single good lap, so we'll see. Obviously, you've got 10 minutes, but it's still 10 minutes can go very, very, very quickly if you haven't put up a good lap.
Yeah, look, I'll even go as far as saying that this is the biggest session of the year, at least in terms of qualifying. So if you mark it up, and even the race one as well, if you find yourself down the field and you are one of those quicker drivers, you're going to have a real tough time getting yourself back up towards where you should be in this race. So it's all going to be about executing and qualifying, not mucking up off the race start, and then just running your own race. But as we've seen many times, Snipes, in the Dev series, these guys generally can't do that or don't want to do that, and they just want to go flat out all the time, regardless of the consequences.
Yeah, well, it is sprints, and these Dev Series drivers all want to do well and show themselves to be at the top of the pile. So you never really quite know, but I suspect there will be some sins happening throughout the evening. Nevertheless, let's hope they are relatively safe. Hoping for some good action. I suspect we're going to see a bit of action, positive or negative, but I'm certainly looking forward to yes, I agree, an important qualifying session.
Yes, and we might as well jump on board. Actually, once I, there you go, select the right thing there. So, we do have a minute left to go in the session. We've got Rody out there on the circuit at the moment. So, we'll just show a little bit of the circuit before we do tick over towards the qualifying session. So, you won't get to see all of it. But, you can see Rody just putting around here towards the end of the second sector. And through this tight section here. Last of the main right-handers, and then we have this section here. Final corner, very easy to miss an apex and run wide. And then the long run out of the final turn all the way down to turn 1. And we'll see how Rody attacks the first chicane. There has been some slight revisions to this, a late change with some errors being thrown up with track cuts not being recorded on the inside. That's now been fixed. The drivers will no longer be able to completely hack that chicane, at least the first part of it. And not the worst run I've seen for that first chicane there from Rody, but not the best either. But it's very easy to get it all wrong there and end up in the fence on the left-hand side. Now the beat chicane, another one that's been just modified a bit. The drivers now should be able to attack that a bit more. Although Rody on this occasion just taking it easy. He was a late comer in the practice session, so I'm not sure if he's done too much practice. So he's still getting to grips with this car and this track.
It's certainly sort of circuit you want to be kind of well gelled in for as well. If you're not quite on hitting your straps yet, you're going to be in for a tough night. So let's hope that they can find it in the qualifying session here. So the practice session coming to a close basically. Rody might get time to complete his lap, but my gosh, Noah Turra at the top of this practice session here, above Bailey Hall, so perhaps a contender for pole there.
Yep, so Noah Turra hasn't been able to run a full schedule this year, but he's been competitive pretty much in every outing. So I think so far the only driver that's gone under the 1 minute 11 mark so far. Yeah, 1 minute 10.9. Much to the chagrin of Brendan Ross in practice, who was trying to get underneath that 11 mark and couldn't quite do it. But yeah, that is it. That's time expired in the practice session. So now we're just waiting for the session to tick over. And yeah, time to, I guess, catch our breath, because it is going to be a busy session here.
There'll be a few drivers to look out for who have posted quick times on the server throughout the week and whatnot. Obviously, Noah Turra and Bailey Hall, always quick, always competitive, certainly. Higgos set the third fastest time in the server here. Is one of our championship contenders, of course, there, with Locke setting the fifth fastest time in the practice session. So, I mean, the gloves will come off right here as we roll over to qualifying, of course. And we will get to see the true pace of everyone who can pull out the right lap in this 10-minute session. But championship contenders still, Lewis, quite close to each other.
Yep, still close together, but Higginson will be hoping to put his lap together. But yeah, just looking at the times, there's quite a bit of field spread really from Noah Turra and Bailey Hall. Good 7/10 of a second, and then another half a second or so, about 4/10 between Bailey Hall and Nathan Higginson. After that, it's quite a bit tighter, but yeah, in this one, just with drivers' confidence levels and, you know, the massive risk versus reward with the way the chicanes are and where the walls are placed, confidence and flow are definitely going to be important for these drivers out there. But with 10 minutes and possibly the most important session of the year, it is important for these guys just to let it all fly out there and hope they can put it all together.
Yeah, absolutely. An important session. It is going to be important to see. We see some shenanigans. There's some shenanigans going on in pit lane with Rory Smith and Locke. They're trying to come out in the same spot, but Rory's just backed out to give it to Locke there. Just waiting on the session to go green now, Lewis. And it has done. We're away.
Yep, and massive queue of cars. So I'll just zoom out here at the first chicane here, and it will be almost an endless stream of drivers leaving the pit lane. A little bit of a gap there between, can't remember if that's Jaeger or Damo, but they are together on circuit. And then Nathan Higginson and Justin Cecil. But still, a lot of traffic for all those that have just left the pits to contend with. I think the next car that we're seeing merge from the pit lane is Steve Warwick. He's got quite a big gap in front of him. And Melody Smith as well, also now just leaving the pits as well, does have a fairly sizable gap around her as well. But cut to Brap, well, he was going to be the first one to settle lap, but he's locked up and completely missed that turn. So he's had to go and avoid the wall. So we've got to go and find the next driver that's going to be the
Bailey
first.
Hall. It's Bailey Hall about to go around and set the lap.
Just got to find him on the... There we go. There's Bailey Hall. So we're right on board our first flying lap of this Gold Coast circuit in anger. Underneath the shadows of the palm trees, across the start-finish line and towards the first chicane. Very easy to outbrake yourself, pick up a track cut. But he's pulled it up and... Not the fastest, but still solid banker. Very deep on the brakes. In fact, he's missed the apex there for turn 4. And the first split of 20.5, but definitely a tenth or two in it. But you just want to set a banker at this stage and go hell for leather later on. Now the beach chicane. Again, I've seen others carry a bit more speed through there, but you do want to set a banker here.
Going safe is important, of course, Lewis, as he probably guides it up pretty safely down towards turn 11. So, look, seems like a healthy lap here for Bailey Hall, just something to get his name on the board. Won't be his fastest, but he'll be able to afford to push now.
Yeah, that's it. You want to just get a nice solid time on the board and build on it, especially around a circuit where it's going to be difficult to overtake. And if you don't get that decent time in, you're going to be behind the 8 ball from the start. So Bailey Hall now will be the first man to cross the line. Have had Noah Tara purple in the first sector. Higginson's actually gone purple in the middle sector. So 1:12.6 from Bailey Hall. He has gone faster in practice sessions previous, so expect him to improve. Zach Brown a 10th off. Noah Tara 11.555 for him. So good start from the fast man in practice. And Higginson able to find himself a 12.4, 9 tenths away. So he's able to get ahead of his championship rival as well as Bailey Hall, but well off the provisional pole time set by Noah Tara.
Yeah, still obviously a bit of time to find for all of these drivers as some just starting to still complete their laps now, whereas other drivers well into their second lap. Traffic will slowly become an issue throughout the session, of course, as it wears on and the faster drivers catch up to slower drivers and whatnot. So it'll be something to be aware of. You still kind of want to find yourself a really big, clear part of track to get a good lap in.
And it's got Bailey Hall. He's on an improved lap here, about half a second up on his own time. So he's going to come to the start-finish line. A bit of traffic ahead of him, but I think this will be his final lap before he peels back into the pits to go again. And an 11.7, so much closer this time around for Bailey Hall. To see Brendan Dossel leave the pit lane in behind. So also seen Peter Thrower move up to P4 and Reece McGillivray as well. He's had a solid session so far, sitting in what was P6 as we see Locke now improve to go to position number 3.
Time's tumbling thick and fast. Everyone's got their banker in and now it's just about getting an actual time and getting something representative of your pace. So you want to be pushing out there at this point in time. You don't want to be caught up behind traffic. Lucky Locke's quick. If there's a chance you've got to catch up to Taipan through this lap if Taipan doesn't set himself a really good one. So and he is green right now as well. So Lucky Locke will certainly not be wanting traffic to factor into this one.
Yeah, I think it just might. He is getting mighty close to Taipan now. You did mention it earlier, traffic could be an issue. And, well, Taipan getting out of the way, but I still think Locke was a little bit on the back foot there. He is up 2.5 tenths on his own time and always he's in the tyre wall there. So, that's that lap done and dusted. I think with 5 minutes to go, probably best to come back into the pits and go again.
Yeah, I think that'll probably be the ideal strategy there, dropping into the pit lane, go go for another one fresh set, but it looks like he might be pushing on. He is pushing on. He's
pushing
feeling
on.
confident. So we'll see how he goes, I suppose.
He's still improved.
Well, he's got a chunk of time to find right there then. So that's definitely, he can just get a reasonably clean lap and not screw it up down the back end of the circuit. He will find plenty of time.
You got a track cut there. Used too much curb at turn number 1. So got Bailey Hall about to start a lap. So how does he take first chicane? Not too bad there. So he'll be looking 20.1 in the first sector, set by Noah Tara, is the fastest, considerably faster than everybody else. 20.2, that's by far the closest anyone else has come to Noah Tara here. So Bailey Hall started this lap positively here, now through the beach chicane, carrying more speed than what we saw before. Exited that quite nicely here, so solid lap here from Hall. May be able to contend with Tara, who did improve his time from earlier on in the session. Now on an 11.342. Hall's maintained his time there in the middle sector, but it seems to be that final sector that Noah Tara has got that advantage over a number of drivers.
Yeah, it's certainly a hard sector to get right. It's very windy in that last corner. Getting on the power, it's just so finicky. It's so easy to get wrong, to just accidentally put a bit too much here and your rear end steps right up. Looked like a reasonable lap, but I'm not sure if he got the exit he wanted to out of there, but he still improves on his time to an 11.569. Comfortably P2 at this point in time. Comfortably.
Yeah, comfortably. Probably a tenth or two still in it for him, but doesn't quite have that ultimate speed as he's going to bail out of this one. Locking up. They've seen Reese McGillivray go to position 4 overall. He has been improving since he started at Sandown, so he may be one of these drivers at the end of the season to find himself with a nice little promotion. And of course,
he's got good pace, Lewis. He certainly has. Sorry to cut in there. He's had excellent pace since he started. He's been improving, and he's put himself actually in some really good spots in the practice sessions and timing. So he's quite far up there for a Super 3 driver. Certainly a good effort, and yeah, if he keeps that up, he'd certainly be in line for a promotion.
And he's doing well so far here. Looking to improve again. Going to need to find about 0.2 of a second to overhaul Locke. And to the line McGillivray goes. Only finds 1/10 of that. He's edging closer, but needs about 0.5 tenth to just get over Locke there. As he loses it there at the first chicane. And well, he has time to go again, but he's going to have to leave pretty quickly with the slow 40 km/h speed limit in the pits.
Unfortunate there for him. Higginson around now. Higginson's a bit further down the field than he'd certainly like to be, down at P6. He's got more pace than I think P6, so he'll be really feeling the heat now to get a good lap in.
Especially with his championship rival there, a couple places ahead. So he'll have time for one more lap after this one if he doesn't roll it at the chicane.
It's basically all or nothing in this next lap for Higo. He's got to find not a huge amount of time realistically to get past Zach Brown, but he's got to find 0.4 near on to get up and past Locke. So there's certainly a bit of time on the table, and he's lighting it up early. Those rears are going to be warm.
Yeah, the rears shouldn't have any problems with temperature. It's going to be the fronts, I think, that may be a little bit of an issue for him here. But I think he's just got to find himself a couple tenths, at least try and get ahead of Zach Brown. He's going to have to put something nice together if he wants to jump ahead of McGillivray or Locke. He's got a bit of lap traffic leaving the pit lane there. And he's gone. He's actually clipped through the fence there, so he's right on it. The first chicane, he's locked the rears a little bit at turn 4, but he's held onto it so far. So full commitment. What's the time say? He's up 0.4 on his own time. That's exactly what he needs, but now he can't afford to bowl it. Otherwise, he's got a bit of work to do at the start of the race.
Yeah, it's pressure section here through the back chicane, the beach chicane they call it. On the power early, I think there's a bit in it still. He's probably lacking a little bit of top end speed. He's turned his lights off. Does that mean it's over for him? He's approaching Melody Smith. He'll be wary of that. But I'm not sure. Higo's lights going off would probably be a sign that he thinks it's gone.
It's over because
He's cut. Sorry. He's cut the track.
He has cut the track. Exactly what he didn't need. At least we should see him peel off into the pits if he hasn't, or he might just go and continue on. He's still got a time next to his name, but when he crossed the split line, it said he was a minute or so behind. Yeah, he's coming into the pit. So disaster for Higginson. He was going to put it all together and then threw it away. We have seen Locke slightly improve as well, I believe. He's gone purple in the middle sector on his previous lap, not on this one. And we've got Noah Turra out there. He's gone purple in the first sector again. Cut to him here. A little bit of lag there, but his full commitment here. He's going to try and improve again. Maybe setting his sights to try and get under that 1 minute 11 mark. He doesn't improve. But that time there would still be good enough at the moment to stick himself on pole position. And yeah, not many drivers now here, Snipes, that are on a lap by the look of it.
Yeah, sessions, checkered flag's been waving for a wee while now. Most drivers finished their laps, I would imagine. It's just now rolling back to the pits, waiting for the session to end. But yeah, a good session. Noah Turra with pole, Bailey Hall on the front row with him. Locke, the first our championship contenders, starting from the second row, and Reese McGillivray in a Super 3 machine there, getting this car on the second row of the grid is an absolutely excellent effort. And of course, Zach Brown, Nathan Higginson, Peter Thrower with a good qualifying effort, Matt Cecil also out of P8, Darren Kemp and Ryan Smith will round at the top 10 there, Lewis.
Yeah, Darren Kemp, probably a little bit further down than what I expect to see him, but I don't think for a number of these guys, just looking at the lap times, the way people have been going on the circuit, I think while qualifying is certainly important early on in the race, looks like drivers have been struggling just a little bit, and consistency may be something that pokes its head in the race. It could be an issue for some drivers out there, but yeah, Noah Turra, I'd say step above the rest of the field, although we did see Bailey Hall and Locke just start to, find their feet a little bit. But after that, McGillivray, great effort, and it's pretty close really from fourth all the way down to Steve Warwick in 12th, separated by less than a second. And then we have another bit of a gap there to Taipan, 6/10 away, and then some cars there, Taipan, Bratt, Luke Yeager pretty close together, and then another group of cars. So it looks like we're going to have a number of groups, but I think here the big thing is going to be keeping it out of the fence, as well as I think luck is going to be a big thing in this one here, Snipes, where there's going to be drivers around you that may put themselves in the wall. You just got to hope that you're able to get through it days of thunder style.
Yeah, definitely luck in a street circuit like this. Plenty of cars. We've got 21 that competed in qualifying, and still a couple that actually unfortunately missed qualifying there. So we're going to have 23 cars on the grid here minimum, I'd say. And that's plenty of cars for the circuit, for lots of walls and not a lot of space.
Yeah, so hopefully all drivers are able to have a nice clean run, but knowing this circuit, the history that we've had here in ASR/AMS Oz, one would think that it's unlikely, but hopefully we're able to have some good, hard and clean racing. But with that, tick over to the warm-up session. Gives us just a little bit of time here to go over the point standings, and then we'll head into just a short break before we do tick over to the first race. So here we are, the point standings. I do believe these are the updated ones. There was a slight error with them earlier on in the week, but Locke leading the championship by over 100 points now, but still Nathan Higginson within reach. Cheese, without that DNF in that last race, would have been right there with Higginson, but that's him probably just out of it without some kind of massive amount of luck. And then Darren Kemp in fourth place. Justin Cecil in P5 ahead of Steve Warwick and Matt Cecil. And we have Taipan, Zach Brown and Luke Yeager all pretty close together. In fact, Matt Cecil is also sort of in that little group there. The tail end of the top 10. Ben Hall's right there as well, but obviously he's not racing in the series anymore. Bailey Hall, he'll be looking to move his way up in that group. So expect to find him in the top 10 by the end of the season. And Felipe, not too far away. Not here this evening. He's racing in Phillip Island this weekend. So good luck to him. Benjamin Rhodes, our leading Super 3 runner on 1,002 points ahead of Noah Tara, who hasn't been here for all the rounds, hence why he's behind Rhodey and outside the top 10 with his pace. And Darren Lockman only 60 points behind Rhodey here, Snipes. So the Super 3 Championship still is on.
Absolutely, that's not a lot of points, and there's still plenty of races left for a points battle that close, realistically, and it could all come down to the big one at the end, which is going to be Bathurst, and that's going to be a big points round there.
Yeah, it certainly is, and well, with the races tonight as well. I mean, you could find that one of these drivers could find themselves in a really good position by just keeping it out of harm's way, and a bit of luck falling their way as well. So plenty of opportunities for Lachlan to make up time, or for Benjamin Rhodes to extend his gap as well. Laszlo Teklas, 800 points. Phil Donny on 694 with Melody Smith and Christian Alvarez rounding out the 20. Crossover to the team standings. Luke McHugh Racing still somehow leading the team standings despite having one car for, I don't know, the last 4 or 5 rounds. Obviously Nathan Higginson and his I guess his battle with himself, I guess it would have to be described as cost that team quite dearly in both his own championship hopes as well as the team's. So they're still somehow behind by 92 points, but one would imagine that would get overhauled by the end of the season. If not, that's a fair effort from Locke to hold on in the second half of the year. ABK Sim Sports in third. They're not really close enough to threaten the top 2, and they're not really threatened by the LLM Juniors either. And then we have Kiwi Sim Sports who'll be looking to make up points on LLM Juniors. KZS Underdeveloped Squad, in their own little battle, I guess, ahead of the 2 Super 3 teams in Tevez Shadow Racing and PVF Scotch Smugglers, which obviously Cracker hasn't been able to attend most rounds, or a number of rounds anyway, so that's why we find the Scotch Smugglers behind Tevez Shadow Racing, but a good opportunity for them tonight with, Rhodey being the only driver out of both those teams to be present this evening. And then WRT Blackshaw's a single car entry. PBF Race Engineering, their drivers don't race for them anymore. So I think that, well, actually, no, I think Zach Brown might be in that team. I can't remember how that team is structured anymore. But obviously, Phil Boak, they're not racing. And yeah, I'm not sure if Zach Brown's part of that team. So that is the teams and driver standings. We'll take a short 1 minute break. Or 1.5 minute break, but we will be back for race 1 of 3 in a couple minutes' time. Don't go anywhere. And welcome back to round 10 of the ASR Development Series, live from the Surfers Paradise Street Circuit, where Noah Turra will lead the field away from pole position. But going to be an interesting night of racing. Normally, chaos and drama has followed this circuit, and the drivers amongst the ASR AMS Oz communities throughout the years of racing here, and one would hazard a guess that it's going to be quite likely tonight. Of course, we do have not long left in the championship, with of course the current 3 races to be run tonight, the Pukekohe round, and then of course the season finale for these guys at Bathurst, a special 1 race event there. So still some races to decide the championship, but one would imagine that these would be the most important. So, Snipes, lead us away for race number 1.
Well, thank you, Lewis. We're going to start with Noah Turra. He's been very quick. He puts the car on pole. He delivers in the session that matters. Alongside him, starting there, of course, is Bailey Hall. Look for him to be challenging, at least in these first couple of laps, I'd say. He'll definitely be one to worry about. Out of P3, we have Locke. He is always fast and competitive. I think he might be just a run below the top 2 at this point in time, but I'd expect him to keep it around there. Out of P4, Reese McGillivray, an excellent effort from him in that Super 3 machinery. Out of P5, we've got Zach Brown, and starting alongside him out of P6, Nathan Higginson, one of our championship protagonists. Out of P7, Peter Thrower, a good effort from him, and starting alongside Peter is Matt Cecil. Out of P9, we've got Darren Kemp, and starting alongside him, and another good effort here is Ryan Smith. Justin Cecil is starting out of P11 with Steve Warwick out of P12. He'd probably be a little bit disappointed with that. Taipan out of P13, and Brett starting out of P14 for this one. We have Luke Yeager starting out of P15, and then Brody out of P16, second, I believe, rerun. Brian Walsh starting just behind there out of P17 with Melody Smith alongside him. Tamo starting this one here out of P19, and then we've got Brandon Dostal starting out of P20. Hayden Cuppett out of P21, and Cheese out of P22, one of the unfortunate couple of people who unfortunately dropped out just before qualifying. So big amount of work for Cheese here. He's obviously 3rd in the championship, so that's a big for him. And alongside him, Darren Lockman out of P23, and also the rear of the grid, Lewis. That's our 23 cars around this circuit. It's going to be
Yeah,
wild.
It's going to be a hot one, and yeah, big night for Darren Lockman here. He's obviously must have been one of the guys that dropped out in qualifying. I need that to be confirmed to me, but yeah, him starting at the back there. He's got a bit of work to do with obviously that battle for the Super 3 Championship. He's got a few cars to make up to get himself ahead of Rhodey. So drivers now forming up onto the grid. A little bit of a hold, but lights are now starting to illuminate. Away we go. Good jump there from Lockie. Lockie's going to try and split the 2 drivers on the front row, and he might even do it here. Aaron Kemp as well, going straight down the middle. Poor start from our pole setter. Bailey Hall's going to lead into turn 1. Locke very early on the brakes. This caused a massive pile up into turn 1 here. And this race has already been turned on its head, unfortunately, as well, for our leading Super 3 qualifier in Reese McGillivray. He's gone straight to the back, and there's been no safety car called either. So that is a massive, massive free kick for Bailey Hall and Zach Brown. But 2.5 second lead for Bailey Hall after that first sector, and a lot of work to do for a number of our runners.
Yeah, absolutely not the start you want, starting from the second row at all. But yeah, free kick to Bailey Hall. He's got 2 seconds from the chasing pack behind him, so we want through the beach.
Oh, Lockman!
More carnage at the back. That's Lockman. Well, his night goes from bad to worse. That's very unfortunate. We're having
got more drama. They're all got the track is jammed. The track is jammed. And scenes of yesteryear here. Unbelievable scenes. The safety car has been called, which for Darren Lockman, we'll go back to the replay of that. So for Darren Lockman, it's good. He can go back and repair damage. So he's held up massively by Melody Smith, who was going slowly, and McGillivray really had nowhere to go except for straight into the back of Lachlan. So for those drivers with damage like Aaron Lachlan, they'll be able to come in and at least fix most of their damage. So, wowee, what a start to this one.
Well, as advertised, you know, the street track brings out the menacing driving. It's difficult to be in. It certainly feels like a punch up in a phone box out there. There's just so many accidents on the first lap. Drivers probably just trying to be a bit too aggressive at points and not being cautious enough into these almost one-line areas like the first chicane and the beach chicane there. It's quite difficult to go through too wide.
Well, not only that, it's a real difficult juggling act, particularly as well at the first corner and first chicane, where if you're too aggressive, you're going to run into the back of someone. But if you're too, I guess, passive or cautious, like it can then, as you see Dostal run in the back of a car there on a safety car, it can also cause issues. So I think Lucky Locke being so cautious into turn one did catch everybody behind him out, which led to that first drama. And yeah, Melody Smith later on being super cautious at the beach chicane caused more dramas. And then we had, of course, down there, can't remember what turn number it is, but the left-hander after the beach chicane. See, if one driver runs wide there with cars behind, the track can get jammed, and in this instance, it was.
Absolutely. The question from here is going to be, can Bailey Hall, I think, maintain P1? Noatara didn't fall too far behind. He found himself a little bit lucky that he kept out largely of the carnage there. So will Noatara be able to push past Zach Brown early and keep up with Bailey?
It is going to be the question, but, you know, with a number of these laps being taken out of this race and, you know, the car between them, it's going to be difficult for Noatara to do it. He's going to have to get by Zach Brown pretty early on after the safety car restart. But big opportunity here for Bailey Hall. Something that we haven't seen as well. Ryan Smith up 4 spots, number of spots. Darren Kemp up 5. And Matt Cecil up 3. Justin Cecil up 4. Number of these drivers up a heap of spots.
Some big winners certainly out of that, and it's just the luck of the draw keeping it out of the trouble. And sometimes it is purely luck. Sometimes you're just in the right spot at the right time to avoid the carnage, just as sometimes you're in the wrong spot at the wrong time to be in the middle of the carnage. It can be not your fault, not your doing, and you can be involved. But also sometimes you get through and you find yourself up, 6 spots in the first lap. Easy peasy.
Yeah, it's just one of those things around a circuit like this where sometimes you just find yourself just that little bit too close to the accident in front that you can't avoid it, and sometimes you just find yourself in the right position, right time. Everybody's just cleared out of the way and you've got a little hole that you can just drive through and make up a few positions. So some drivers able to get the roll of the dice, the others ending up with a pair of snake eyes. As we still remain under safety car conditions. Not sure if we're going green just yet. I haven't seen too many drivers warming up their tyres either here, Snipe, so difficult to say if we are going racing or not, although with the way Bailey Hall's...
I think we are, Lewis.
Yeah,
I think we are.
Bailey's letting the safety car go here. Yep, safety car is peeling in. And we are going to go racing again here. So drivers now... some gaps between a number of runners a little bit further down the field, but they are starting to concertina up. Bailey's gone. We'll get a penalty from the game, but that will be cleared. And he has got the clear jump here into turn 1. So we go to curb cam here, and let's see what dramas unfold here. And someone's grazed the wall. Dostal very close there as well, but for the most part they're all able to clear it as we go back to the battle for the lead, or for second place I should say. And Zach Brown having to go defensive with Noatara right behind him. And not the most ideal run. Tara able to get back over to the left hand side quicker and shows the nose a little bit, tucks back in, ducks back out. Zach Brown able to hold on. These front 3 though have bolted.
You're certainly stretching away. Tell you, on the restart Bailey Hall just caught Zach Brown out there. Got a really good gap early. It was a really, really good jump as we start looking back towards battling Nathan Higginson, attempting to recover, but not quite able to get by, grazing the wall there a little bit, chasing down Locke. So the championship protagonist was side by side. Steve Warwick right in there.
Yeah, Steve Warwick, he's wanting that position. And Nathan Higginson not wanting to give it up after a failed move on Locke. Locke now looking to try and make a move on Peter Thrower. Fresh off some Le Mans racing last time out, I believe. It was last weekend, I can't remember. But recently doing some real life racing.
Yeah. A quick side note on that one, Lewis. I read the lap times. They had the second slowest car in a 107 car field, and they came 57th. So a reasonable effort, I think, there.
Yeah, great effort from the lads. But two championship leaders battling it out for 9th place at the moment. So going to be tough going for these guys if they can't find their way through the field, especially with there being a progressive grid as well. So good opportunity for the guys in front of them to pick up some points here.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a free kick also again for the leaders, for Bailey Hall, for Zach Brown, Notara, who just gets a stretch away from this chasing battle pack that continues to kind of stay reasonably close. We've got plenty of cars quite line astern here, Lewis. This could explode at any time.
Yeah, I don't want to call it a Kemp train just yet, because there is a bit of a gap actually between is that Peter Thrower and Justin Cecil, who's right behind Ryan Smith for Bendigo Bogan Racing. There's a car on the wall. I think that was Justin Cecil there. As looks like Locke having to go defensive. He's missed the apex at 4. And Higginson lights up the rears, so he's not going to get the drive off of turn 4. So Locke will hold on for now. But it says all the makings of classic between these guys. Also seeing in the timing that Noah Tara has got himself up into second place as Higginson right out sideways at the beach chicane. Got Steve Warwick in the tyre wall. And on for young and old here.
Yeah, it certainly is. Championship protagonists are going hard. Locke's just trying to get past the traffic in front of him. He knows he's faster than a bunch of these cars, so it'll be frustrating sitting behind. But he can't look away from his mirror. Nathan Higginson all over the back of him. He is applying the blowtorch at this point in time. He's putting his car every which way. They're looking at going 3 wide. Higginson's got a bit of a run. He's lit up the rears though. They're going to be side by side down the front straight, but Locke might just have enough speed there to pull away.
I thought for a second he was going to slide and then turn into a T-bone there into Locke, and Locke's going for the outside into the first chicane. Backs out. Oh, got contact further up. That's Justin Cecil, and more contact between. It's a massive incident there. And Locke's been turned out of all of that. So we'll just cut to a replay and see how that all took place. So there's our leaders coming through. And Justin Cecil late on the brakes, straight into the back of the Bendigo Bogan racing car. And then further contact with Higginson and Locke. I'm not really sure what the hell was going on there. So let's just ride on board Mr. Higginson here. So they're all sort of checking up, and Locke's tried to turn back onto the race circuit when Higginson was already there. So a bit stiff on Higginson there, so I think that's just a bit of a racing incident. We're back under safety car conditions again. It's exactly what Noah Tara wanted, but high drama once again here at Gold Coast.
Well, it's living up to its reputation of many accidents, hard to pass. And yeah, just a bit of a mistake under braking there. Really unfortunate for Ryan Smith. It's a few races now that he's put himself in good spots, and then through no fault of his own, he's found himself facing the wrong way. So that's certainly not advantageous for him, but he still finds himself in a reasonable position in this race.
Yeah, I don't think he actually lost all that many or any positions out of all of that. So still finds himself behind Peter Thrower and Matt Cecil, and still leading the Super 3 class. So despite what happened, he's still in a decent position. And Steve Warwick, out of all that, able to jump ahead of Nathan Higginson as well. So he'll be happy to clear that. And Rhodey's got himself up into 12th place, second place overall in Super 3. And then Reese McGillivray not too far away as well. So with the race being neutralised, it's also helped out Darren Loughnane. That'll get him closer towards Rhodey and also help out Taipan, who pitted under safety car conditions. And Melody Smith cutting the circuit there under safety car conditions. You do get pinged on formation lap and safety car. And I'm speechless with that. That's well, you got yourself 2 track cuts, and it's pretty easy to get yourself a track cut at turn 1 at the best of times. So
if the drive-through happens after that, you'd be kicking yourself, right? Like, oh, it's amusing sometimes. I enjoy the development series.
It's yeah, there's certainly in this dev series. There's going to go at least one more lap here behind the safety car here.
One more thing here with this, Lewis. Obviously, that's a bit of a blessing for Noah Tara. It brings Bailey Hall right back to him. So now we're going to have, for I'd say, a few laps, provided it stays green, some good running between the two protagonists for at least the win of this race, I would say. Zach Brown, I think, is a very fair shot if he can keep it on circuit, holding that podium position, though.
Yeah, you certainly find yourself in a pretty solid position there, Zach Brown, because if those two in front do battle hard, he's still going to be right there to pick up any pieces if they do find themselves having a bit of an incident. So in a good position. Same with Darren Kemp. He's another one who's kept his nose clean, and Matt Cecil for the most part. They've kept their noses clean. And the APK SimSport guys, they're going to be picking up some really solid points if they can stay where they are. And yeah, it's going to be interesting conclusion to at least this race 1 here tonight. And Nathan Higginson in 9th. His championship rival after all of that now finds himself down in 20th. I do wonder if the point standing sheet has been updated, so I can sort of have a live look at the standings.
It's going to be... Look, I suspect the incident will go to the steward's room, to be fair. So I'd say race results wouldn't necessarily be finalised, but if it stays how it is, that's a big point swing to Higginson. That certainly helps. One more lap here, it seems, on the safety car, Lewis.
Yeah, another lap on the safety. We have had Brendan Dostal retire as well from this race. He's the only retirement. So another thing to take note of is that races here in the Dev Series do have a time limit set upon them. So if you do get another safety car, we might find ourselves ending the race underneath safety car conditions with time expiring. But the laps being fairly short, I'd imagine if we go green that we will finish this race under green. But around this circuit, it's difficult to say.
Yeah, it sure is. If we do go green, it's then going to be just cars bunched again, and how well that they all deal with that. There's some cars, as we expected, a bit out of place and a bit probably not where they would have hoped that they would be. In this race now, so there might be some drivers that will be trying to make up positions as quickly as they can. Let's hope we get green flag running to the end.
Yeah, hopefully green to the end. We see some good battling and some clean racing. But yeah, these drivers, you'd imagine they have one last opportunity of green flag running. So that may bring about some desperation from some of these drivers. From others that are in good positions, we may see them just set up shop and just accept the result. Like certainly if I was Darren Kemp and Matt Cecil and even Peter Thrower and Ryan Smith, I'd be quite happy with the position that I'm in. No need to take too many risks and just bring home a solid result. Because of course, where you finish this race, Snipes, is where you start the next one. And you don't want to go throwing it all the way on the last lap of the race, or last couple laps of the race, and then find yourself having to start the second race all the way at the back.
Absolutely. It's important that you kind of, if you're still moved forward, that's a good thing. I think the safety car might be
Yep.
dropping off. It is. Now, I'm intrigued to see when Bailey Hall goes. He's been dropping it a bit earlier than a lot of the field's expecting, and he's been leaving some of his competitors for dust. I'm expecting him to hit the go pedal pretty damn soon, and he does.
And we go racing. Not as big as a gap as last time, but we'll see how we go through the first chicane here. This time by has been where Noah Tara's been strong in the past. Do they all get through cleanly? Oh, a little bit of racing there. McGillivray trying to make a move. Someone's in the wall. That's Higginson. He's in the wall. And cuts a replay of that in a second. He's able to keep it going, but what's he managed to do to himself here? He's going slowly. He's just driven wide into the wall. That is an interesting one. He's lucky that we've got damage turned down in this series because he'd find himself...
Sorry, Lewis, there's a move for the lead right now. Noah Tara's just got down the inside of Bailey Hall at turn 11. He got a good run out of the chicane and just got it down the inside. Bailey Hall still trying to battle it around the outside. He's putting all the pressure on, but well-executed move from Noah Tara there to get the lead of this race. He wanted to do it early, and he did.
We'll cut to a replay of that. So he had a good run out of the beach chicane, did Noah Tara. And then, just Bailey Hall couldn't do anything of it. Almost outbroke himself. Shades of McLaughlin on Frosty Winterbottom many years ago. But that exit out of the final corner is a cut live. Fantastic from Tara. And, well, if he doesn't make a mistake, he should hold on for victory, as he does seem to have a pace advantage over Bailey Hall. There's Hall in the wall! Hall is in the wall, and he's going to have to wait for the entire field to go back round again, as we see Higginson in the wall again.
Higginson really struggling here. This could even pull out another safety car, but at this point I don't believe it has, and yet disaster for Bailey Hall. He'd done everything right all race. He'd driven it cleanly. He'd just been overtaken, sure, but he was in a great spot. But from the front to the back, heartbreak for Bailey.
And that's all about trying to set up your race weekend. Again, Higginson overdriving it into the fence again, and he can count his stars that we don't have higher damage set for these drivers, as Melody Smith once again gets it wrong at the beach chicane. So Noah Tara, clear lead ahead of Zach Brown, who's driven a nice clean race, and well, he's going to set himself up beautifully for race number 2, as is the two APK SimSport boys who started the back end of the top 10 and find themselves in 3rd and 4th. Got Peter Thrower and Ryan Smith battling it out here for position 5, and Steve Warwick not too far away as well.
Certainly all on here. Ryan Smith trying to push forward, putting the pressure on the experienced Kiwi now, but not quite able to get what he wants up the inside into one. Loses out a little bit, I think, through the chicane to throw. Matt Cecil with a bit of a check up behind Darren Kemp, it seemed there as well. I mean, this could still be on for these for this podium position here. I'd say 3rd's still up for grabs, but maybe Matt Cecil will just be trying to play rear gunner for Darren at this point.
Well, I'll just cut to a shot here. I wonder if Darren just made a mistake, but yeah, maybe just a slight mistake there. But no, as he cut live, he's struggling a bit, and here you go, Peter Thrower. He's going to set it up the inside. Contact with Kemp. He's in the wall. Both APK cars in the wall. And Ryan Smith now is going to have a look at 3rd. And, well, he's up into 4th now. Thrower, big move. Might find himself in trouble. And then Steve Warwick turned around and finished the job there from Justin Cecil. So, late drama and safety car. That's it. That's the race over, done and dusted. There's going to be some drives in this one, Snipes, I'd imagine, that are going to find themselves with time penalties and could find themselves well down the field with that being the case.
Yeah, it certainly turned out to be a bit of a classic race here at Surfers Paradise. Plenty of carnage and just staying out of it as well. An absolutely massive challenge. A number of drivers have fallen into some absolutely huge accidents here, as there always is, and yeah, many drivers involved. I don't think there'll be a straight panel at the end of this race.
Oh dear. So, absolute drama, absolute chaos. And yeah, like, I mean, where's Steve Warwick as we cut live ended up out of after all of that? He's all the way at the back. He's behind Cheese and Bailey Hall. And Rudy himself has found himself down in 19th, so I'm not sure what's happened to him in this one, but he was second overall in Super 3, and now finds himself in 19th, and behind Darren Loughnane. So what a massive turnaround in the Super 3, with Loughnane starting at the back after missing qualifying, Rudy being in a decent position early on in this race, and then absolute carnage and drama means that he's going to claw back some points on Rudy.
He sure will, spicing it up, making sure that he's not out of this fight. I expect we're going to see a one-lap dash at the end of the safety car period. So I mean, we're already essentially exceeding the amount of laps that this race was meant to go for. So it'll be intriguing. I don't think fuel will be too much of an issue, to be fair, based on the fact we've had a couple of other safety cars. But nevertheless, if someone was tight, it could start to get problematic soon.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be someone that's tried to be cute and run it right on the edge of the limit here, because, yeah, there has been safety cars, but if you do get a lap of green flag running, you might find yourself right on the edge. As we see Noah Tara warming his tyres up, so I wonder if we're going to go green this time by here. But, yeah, late drama. Well, there's been drama all throughout this race. This is our third safety car snipes, and yeah, as we've seen in the live chat, some major bust-ups.
Yeah, absolutely. Bust-ups all up and down the field. A quick side note, while we have a bit of a lull, it's not actually been a very good race for either of them, to be fair, but we have Taipan in his 100th race for the Dev Series. Yeah, right now, unfortunately a bit further back than where he started and where he should be. And this is Cheese's 99th. So he's going to be starting his 100th race without some sort of miracle from a rather rearward position, currently in 21st. I'm sure he's been caught up in some of the drama that happened just before the safety car as well, but he was up 15th, 14th, if I remember correctly. So he'd slowly clawed his way through, and he finds himself at the back. For his 100th race, he'll be starting next. So it's certainly not the memories you'd want to associate with your centenary race if you're Taipan, and you hope that you can pick it forward if you Cheese in your 100th.
Yeah, as you can see, both those cars donning some front-end damage. And, yeah, a number of these drivers, I think there'd maybe be one or two drivers out here that wouldn't be donning any damage, and I think it's probably our front two drivers in Noah Tara and Zach Brown. So, safety car, lights are off. Peeling into the pit lane, we are going to get one final lap, as time will expire as well on this lap. So we're going to go literally the full distance we can go. And Noah Tara waiting to the last to accelerate away. Gets the green, does get a penalty, but it will be cleared. And, well, here we go. One flying lap. What can these drivers do or not do is the big question. And hopefully a big accident to turn one isn't one of them. But here we go. Oh, a couple of cars wide there, and one into the wall. And it's Justin Cecil, and there's more contact. Higginson's around, Matt Cecil's around, and it's Jacques Villeneuve 2010 all over again. The track is jammed. The track is literally jammed. What is this? Absolute drama here. Higginson's had to push himself out of the way, and his championship rivals also involved in that. And, well, absolute chaos here in race one.
Noah Tara gets just to drive away. He's not been involved in any of it. He's just stayed out of trouble. All the carnage has gone on behind him. And let me tell you, if the damage was higher, there would be many cars that would not have finished this race. Alas, it is the Dev Series. Damage is down, and I'm sure emotions will be high. But nevertheless, Noah Tara throughout practice has been fastest, putting up the front for qualifying, and will take the win at race one here at Surfers Paradise.
And Zach Brown home, comfortable second. Kemp will hold on to third. Ryan Smith a fantastic fourth place. Peter Thrower getting himself up into fifth ahead of fast recovering McGillivray. Perhaps somehow home in seventh. Damo in eighth. Matt Cecil recovering to ninth after that drama at the final, at turn four I should say. Cup at home in 10th. Here's another one that's coming from out of nowhere. Justin Cecil in 11th with that drama. Rhodey, who went to the back after all that drama, finds himself back into 12th place after finding himself, I think, at that safety car period was down in, I think, 19th or 20th spot. So all those cars, he's got to head himself ahead of Lachlan. So swings and roundabouts, the championship battles in Super 2 and Super 3 have gone up and down multiple times in that race. Steve Warwick in 13th, of course, he was up and down as well. Cheese got himself up a few positions at the back end of that to 14th. Higginson home 15th. Bailey Hall home in 16th. Walsh home in 17th. Jaeger in 18th. Smith 19th. Taipan 20th. And Locke after all that as well finds himself in 21st ahead of Darren Lachlan, last of the finishers. And Brendan Dostal, the only retirement unbelievably in this race. So massive drama, massive chaos. And after all that, the championship battle not really changing all that much because they finished so far down, it's not going to affect the points all that much. But it will affect races 2 and 3.
Absolutely will. There's some recovery drives to be had. There is going to be some livid drivers out there, I'm sure, Lewis. People like that. I don't know if I've seen quite a pile up in ASR quite like that.
I think that is one for that last lap. I think Snipes is one for the history books. I've personally not seen one like that, and I've been here since the start. So, yeah, that just sums up Gold Coast. It is it's a special place. It's just utter insanity.
Yeah, chaos in and around every lap of this circuit. It's just so difficult to pass, and when people sense an opportunity to, they send it, but it's so easy to get it wrong, and the consequences are dire. As we've seen, we saw multiple pile-ups in this race, but that last one was something spectacular. That's almost moment in history tier there, Lewis, I think. It's gone, but maybe it has to make a return for that, because that was absolutely insane. There had to be 10 cars caught up.
There was a number of cars. I'd say a minimum of 8, but I don't know about any more than that. But yeah, that was incredible scenes here. Scenes that you don't see all that often, but we've unfortunately seen it tonight. But yeah, absolute carnage so far in race 1. We've still got 2 more to go, so hopefully the next 2 will clean up. But anyway, with that, I'm busting to go, so we'll take a short break. right, and we are back. Apologies for a slight delay. I had some issues I had to go and sort out after the race there, but we're back, and the warm-up is over. There's some unhappy drivers. There's going to be some unhappy admins, I'm sure, but we've still got 2 races to go here, Snipes, and we could see anything. We could see UFOs. We could see... There's no rain in AMS, but the way this circuit is with this league, it could rain. We just don't know what's going to happen.
Look, it may as well be raining, Lewis. It really may as well be. It would seem it's raining. There's a bit of contact here and there, indicating that people perhaps are struggling at points with their cars. I don't know. It's a small circuit. It's tight. It's tough to move, but people still need to try race cleanly if they can. Race hard, but race fair. Try not to stick it there if it's not going to work out. But this is all part of the learning process, and hopefully people will learn. I've seen chat. The driver's been issued a warning of drive-throughs if the behaviour continues. Just issued out by a live stewarding team. So that would certainly. Hopefully the drivers have got it out of their system in race 1, and it can be a cleaner race 2 and 3.
Yeah, hopefully drivers do get the message that being a little bit too adventurous is going to lead to some pretty major incidents, especially around this circuit, where even if you make a mistake on your own, you can have dire consequences for not only yourself but for a number of cars behind you. So hopefully drivers into the second race here do... they've had it reiterated every time they've been bashed from behind, bashed from the side, and then bashed from the barriers that, guess what? This place is pretty tricky, and you should probably show it and the competitors around you a little bit of respect. Otherwise, you'll find yourself with some broken bits on your pixelated car, as well as possibly a bit of biff from the admins after the race night is over. So hopefully they're able to put it all behind them and have a nice clean race 2 here. But Jesus Christ, that was some chaotic racing, which is something that this circuit seems to always provide.
Yeah, I can't go on about it enough. The chicanes are hard. There's not really a corner that's easy around this circuit. There are some circuits you go to where you can relax for a few corners or a corner here and there, but there are none of those here. It is all just balls to the wall, and it's so punishing for mistakes, and it doesn't need to be a big one to be a big accident.
It certainly doesn't need to be a big one. It just needs to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. As the formation lap here for race number 2 gets underway, where Noah Turra will lead the way once again, but alongside him this time will be Zach Brown, who's been very consistent over the second half of the season, particularly the last few rounds. Darren Kemp, for the most part, kept his nose nice and clear and home in 3rd place outside that last lap. Really no dramas for him. Ryan Smith up and down, but eventually finishing in a fantastic 4th place for him, for Bendigo Bogan Racing in the Hooters Mobile, hoot hoot. And then we have Peter Thrower in position number 5 for Kiwi Sim Sports. Alongside him, Reece McGillivray, another one, Snipes, that bit like a yo-yo, up and down, started at the front, contact on lap 1, and was right at the back of the field, and then finishes in 6th, so that's where he'll start. So he'll be hoping for a nice cleaner run in this one. And we have Bratt in P7, another one that was able to just avoid the carnage. Same with Damo in 8th. And then we have Matt Cecil. I think he started 9th or 10th in race 1. Was running in 4th behind his teammate before that last lap shenanigans. So he'll be hoping for a couple of positions here to be gained in this one. Hayden Cuppett in 10th. Good, solid first race. Avoid the carnage for him. Justin Cecil's in amongst the carnage. Able to come home 11th. He'll start this one there. Rhodey up again. Yo-yo up, down, or down, up, down, up, down, up. He'll start from 12th ahead of Steve Warwick and Cheese. Another couple runners that were a bit like a yo-yo. Nathan Higginson started in the middle of the top 10 and was looking okay. His championship rival fell off and then ended up falling off and being involved in some stuff himself. So he'll start in 15th ahead of Bailey Hall. Brian Walsh will start in 17th in front of Luke Yeager in 18th. Melody Smith in 19th with Taipan starting 20th. And Locke, of course, championship leader, will start from 21st after Pretty unlucky run for him in that one. And then Darren Loughnane in 22nd again, with Brendan Dostal starting from the back. Alright, drivers have formed up. Lights illuminating. Away we go. Who gets the jump? Hard to say. Well, hold on a second there. Zach Brown with a decent jump.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get it into one perhaps. Noah might stick it up the inside to keep it too wide. It's going to be hard to go through here. The pack all compressed all together. It's always so dangerous.
Oh, that round goes, I think that's Damo Jaeger. Braps around into the wall as well. But he's able to keep it straight after a knock here or there. So, not quite as bad.
Avoiding a safety car. Sorry, Lewis. Avoiding a safety car at least. It's just one around.
And, well, there's Noah Turra leading the field away. Zach Brown second, Kemp third, McGillivray up to fourth, Smith fifth, Matt ahead of Justin. And then Brap, Thrower, Cuppet, Higginson, Warwick, Hall, Cheese, Rhodey, Jaeger, Walsh, Taipan, Locke, and Smith. But,
good start here, sorry, Lewis, for Noah, I think. He's just got a clean first lap. He struggled off the start, to be fair, but he managed to just take the dominant position over Zach, and now he's just going to focus on trying to stretch away. Looking at Reese McGillivray here, under pressure from Rory Smith, two very quick Super 3 runners here.
We've got a safety car. It's Cuppet. He's in the fence. In the fence hard there. So we'll just cut to a replay and find out what's happened here. So racing with Bailey Hall and Cheese. And contact with Cheese there. Cheese has gone around. Rhodey's been involved. And once again, there's more drama. And Bailey Hall to the back without all that. But we'll go all the way back and have another look on the replay. And sort of bit on both drivers there. It's a difficult one. Cheese probably should have left more space, but that gap was always really going to close as well. So that will be an interesting one for the admins to sort out. And then go and try and find actually our man Rhodey, because he was late on the scene. So you can see it all happening in front of him. And he's outbroke himself and then ended up with nowhere to go because he outbroke himself. So just unfortunate victim there. But that's racing around street circuits all this night, as these guys have found out already.
Yeah, just wrong spot, wrong time. Get caught out. Get caught just watching a little bit in front. It's very easy to get distracted for just a moment and miss a braking marker if something's happening in front of you. Something happening in front of you can actually really spoil your rhythm through a particular area. You know, just having to slow down, backing off, can really just really stuff with your braking, etc. And I know I've made lots of mistakes, or not lots of mistakes, but certainly some reasonable mistakes. But something's happened in front of me and I've just come out of the accelerator or something, and then I've just caked how to brake, essentially. So it's easy to make a mistake when things change up your rhythm, essentially.
Yeah, a bit of target fixation, or you just it just throws you off. You lose that rhythm that you'd had, and when you lose that rhythm, sometimes all it takes is just to be out of the braking point or throttle by a metre or two or a percentage point or two, and you find yourself involved in a shunt that you could have avoided. Easy to do, but around a circuit like this as well, you've got no real time to react. You've got to be a little bit lucky, but at the same time, I think some drivers just not reading the cars in front of them and what could potentially happen. They're just thinking about, I've got to try and make up a position or make up time, and then once the incident happens, they're left with nowhere to go. So, bit of an awkward one, but as you've said, and as I've said, and as admins have said, this is a development series, and it is a development series for a reason. But hopefully this will be our only safety car for this one.
Yeah, well, you know what they say, Lewis, safety cars breed safety cars. It will recompress the field, but it's still not quite as hectic as your stock standard start of a race. Not quite as nuts formation. So hopefully the drivers just find themselves a little bit of space. Give cars just a little bit of space to get through the areas they need to. Give them a little bit of space to make a little bit of a mistake if you need to. And why you, I'd say, more chances to get through unscathed.
Yeah, so he's see Justin Cecil is one of the drivers up 5 spots after all the carnage. Nathan Higginson up 6 spots. And seeing in the live chat, Daniel Cox asking for how many safety cars there's been. Well, there's been a lot. So I think over the course of the night, this is the 4th or 5th. And yeah, the last one did go green, white checker, and there was even more drama on the final lap that would have caused another safety car as well. So I'd advise while we're under safety car period here, Coxie, to go to the final lap of that last race, and you'll see an historic moment in ASR AMS Oz history where the track was jammed. I know we've joken about it in the past, but it literally was jam snipes.
Probably the biggest pile-up I've ever seen in ASR. Full stop. I've seen a lot of crashes, but I think that involved almost the most cars and just coming to a complete stop on the circuit until they sorted themselves out. It was quite wild to witness. But yes, unfortunately, an early safety car here in this race. The theme continues through surfers. Just trying to keep your nose clean, trying to keep out of trouble is probably the biggest thing around here. It's the biggest thing in this series, full stop. First and foremost, keep out of trouble. Second, try go fast and be consistent. But if you keep out of trouble, you can really put your car in good spots. Now, obviously, around a circuit like this, that's so much easier said than done, because trouble can just happen all around you.
Yeah, it certainly is a lot easier said than done around these circuits. During a race, especially when cars are packed together, there's times where you're going to get stuck with nowhere to go. And I got Matt Cecil out of the race. So I just saw him in the live chat pop up, and yeah, he is out of the race. So what's happened here? Let's go and have a look, see if it was just possible internet dropout here. Not sure how long ago it was, but we're still under safety car, I believe.
We've got a whole nother lap of safety car. They've only just passed the start finish, so we've got a fair amount of time here to get through. We can do a quick Cecil investigation.
Yeah, unfortunately, can't just go and select a point in time and go from there in AMS, one of the limitations, but we'll go and wait and see. So this must have happened fairly early on here, unfortunately, for Matt Cecil. Yeah, internet drama in the live chat. So we might as well just cut back live again. So just a short recap of the positions. I know everybody can read, but a commentator's got to do something. So Noah Turra leading the field away from pole position in this one. Zach Brown and Darren Kemp holding first, second and third. And then Reece McGillivray up a couple spots ahead of Ryan Smith for the lead of the Super 3 class. So Ford FG leads Holden VE. Then we have Justin Cecil up 5 spots into 6th. Brapp in 7th place. Almost died at the first chicane on the first lap, but was able to live. Peter Thrower down 3 spots, so poor start from him. So safety car going to hopefully help him out. Nathan Higginson up 6. Then we have Steve Warwick, Luke Yeager and Cheese with a bit of front end damage on his mobile. So he's running to the back of someone. Locke, a few places behind his championship rival, but not too far away. And then Taipan in 14th, he'll be hoping for some better luck, as will Rhodey in this one. Brian Walsh in 16th ahead of Brandon Dostal. Darren Lockman, also another one, a bit short of luck in race 1. Then we have a Damo Melody Smith, a Bailey Hall, another one who put himself in this position here with an incident where he dropped it on his own at the end of a race number 1 there. And then Hayden Cuppett and Matt Cecil with Cuppett out of the race. Cuppett in the race and Matt Cecil out as the safety car's in. We're going to go green here. And Noah Turra will lead the way. He did wait until the last moment last time and is waiting again to the last moment to go.
He's dropped him too. He's got a good run there off the start. He's got himself a sizable gap into 1.
We've already got a number of drivers trying to switch positions. We've got McGillivray trying to go around the outside of the first chicane on Kemp, and he's actually pulled it off. So fantastic pass by McGillivray, but we do have drama. That is Taipan around, and drivers having to take the escape road down there. So it's just at his 100th race. Unfortunately, his 101st isn't going much better. So what happened did Taipan down here? Oh, he's late on the brakes, then had to get out of it, and then he's been just served by Rhodey. So that's what can happen. The old Concertina effect, and looks like Rhodey has redressed that. So Tara in the lead comfortably, and Zach Brown a comfortable lead over McGillivray, and then behind Kemp we've got a couple cars right behind him: Justin Cecil and Ryan Smith.
Yeah, no, it's starting. The group's starting to spread.
Oh, gee, let's throw her around. Sorry to cut you off. Peter Throwers dropped it. And he's going to have to wait for the entire field to go around again. He's in a really awkward spot. You can't really three-point turn it in that position. Oh, he got himself into a decent position and he's throwing it all away.
Yeah, unfortunate for Peter there. Looks like just a bit of an error there, lighting it up. Plenty of battles going on down the front straight though. P789 is side by side into the first chicane. Steve Warwick is and Higginson and Cheese, side by side, and Luke Yeager's around at the exit of the chicane. We're having more drama here. It's just everyone is going everywhere. Steve Warwick's got past, Cheese has got by Higo, and Brat's gone back by Higo as well. Everything is just...
This race has gone off, so he's just clipped that wall. It does stick out a little bit at the exit of turn 2-3, and the back he goes. And now I've got Higginson and Locke actually together on circuit. So Locke's recovered. And now he can set his sights on trying to get some points back after race one. Higginson, though, he's got to get himself as many positions up the field as he can and hope that Lockie Locke isn't able to follow him as he, almost throws it off the road himself.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to do. The pressure's on. He knows that Lockie Locke's ahead and he'll be feeling the heat. He really wants to do well in this series, and he's put himself, even through all the mistakes he's made, he still finds himself right in this championship fight. But he's certainly got the ability when he can put it all together, does Nathan Higginson. He just needs to do that for these last few races to give himself a fighting chance of taking this championship out.
Oh, and they both, Brapp and Higginson, would be close to track cuts as Higginson lights it up on the exit. Little bit of a twitch under braking for Brapp. So just lock of the rears there for the PBF Academy bootleggers driver.
It looks like Nathan Higginson, just a bit more confident under brakes here perhaps than Brapp. He's certainly catching him through the braking zones there. Brapp pulling away down the back straight there, as you can see, out of the beach chicane reasonably well. So a bit of work to do for Higo to get past, I think.
Oh, and it looks like Warwick ahead has just grazed the wall on the exit there. And Cheese up the inside, but they're going to go side by side. They're going to duke it out here. We did see dramas here in race one for Steve Warwick. Able to get through there this time, but does lose position to Cheese, who's up 7 spots now, despite that front end damage. As Noah Tara, that is a new race lap record, I believe. An 11-1.
Yeah, very, very quick. Pulling out the big ones from Noah Tara. He's certainly found his groove.
As we've got Brapp and Higginson side by side here. As we go into the first chicane, a little bit of contact on the way in. Higginson gets the job done. I think they both picked up track cuts going through turn 2 there.
Yeah, don't want to pick up too many of those. Easy to get around here, certainly, just by missing your mark a little bit through a chicane. Easy to pick up a track cut. It's not a lot of laps, but it's still easy to go off. So you don't want to be doing that too often. You want to keep it on the track as much as you can. The drive-through penalty would be horrendous.
Especially with a championship on the line for Nathan Higginson. He's got a decent run at the beach chicane. Might have a look at Steve Warwick here. Alright, decides better of it this time around. Probably going to try and set something up for turn 1 again. So see a little bit of a lock up ahead from Cheese, and rears locking for Higginson.
Likes the aggressive setups with the oversteer from the rear bias with his brakes. But it's his downfall, but it's also how he drives the car. He likes to push it, he likes to go out sideways to find his pace. Unfortunately, just not quite a good enough run to be pressuring Steve down into what want to be able to set up a good run through the first chicane. Yeah,
so Warwick did get that good run, but further afield though, we've got Darren Kemp, Justin Cecil, and there's Cheese around. There's Cheese around at the first chicane. I reckon is another victim of that wall on the left-hand side on the exit. It's right on board here. He's already a little bit sideways, and then, yeah, that wall does stick out. Probably does need to get straightened just a smidge, but either way, you've got to look out for that. His rear left caught it, and actually does the smart thing by doing a doughy towards the wall instead of towards the racing line there. He's got Bailey Hall and Darren Lachlan behind him. Lachlan now able to draw some points on Rody. He's in 18th, so 3 position difference between the two, but he'll be hoping for a few more in these last few laps. If you've got Walshy with Cheese, and Bailey Hall in the wall there as well, so not a good run here for Bailey Hall in race 2, not able to carve his way through the field like you'd hope. There's a little bit of lag there. I think both drivers just clipping the wall there. And the game just a little bit of lag. So these guys now battling out for 7th after Cheese's mistake.
Yeah, certainly that's advantageous for the likes of Higginson, etc. to pull away from Cheese in the championship. So he'd want to still be doing that, as well as gaining points on Locke. So Cheese's misfortune is fortune for both Higginson and Locke, realistically, but he's probably out of fight first.
And Justin Cecil is around. I reckon he's got we've got a driver that's Ryan Smith that's just parked it there as well. So Justin doesn't want to reverse onto the racing line, doing the smart thing here. Actually lucky there hasn't been a safety car called because he's got 2 stationary cars. He's reversed when he thought he was clear there. Might get himself in trouble there, but no, we have got a safety car. We have got a safety car from that incident. Exactly what Noah Tara didn't want. Exactly what Reese McGivelray didn't want. He got himself into a podium position here that we'd completely forgotten about, Snipes. So
he's still on for it, though. He's got the pace around here. I think he's shown throughout the whole evening, throughout the week, he's had good pace. So it's definitely gutting when you've pulled out a really good lead over everyone behind you. You're feeling no heat. Now the whole pack's going to be right there and angry. So it's certainly something to set your mind forward for. Hopefully this will be our last safety car of the race.
Yes, I'm just going to go back here because Darren Kemp now is on his own. He wasn't too far away. I wonder... Okay, so... He's got Cecil, Justin that is, and Smith behind him. And yeah, he's just a little bit concertina. And Smith doing the smart thing, going around and then pulling to the inside to redress. But yeah, with 2 cars being stopped on the circuit, another car's being close by, that's what's caused the safety car. But at least we got a decent stretch of racing in there, Snipes, between the previous safety car and that one.
Absolutely. They've tidied it up a little bit for this race, I think, the field. Touch some wood, because we've still got another safety car reset to go, and it's going to be another mad dash down through the last lap. The safety car could take us to pretty much that, I believe. So it's going to be really close anyway.
Yeah, we'll be tight. I'm not seeing drivers go and warm their tyres up here, so I would imagine we'll go one more lap under safety car here. And I'll just skip ahead and see. So Hayden Cuppett is out of this one. Jaeger, the last of the runners, he's just gone through the beach chicane here. And the safety car lights are still on, so another lap under green. Or under yellow, I should say. And, we can take a little bit of stock. Have a sip of our drink. My drink of choice tonight, Snipes, is Jim Beam. Some old bourbon and cola. What's your drink of choice right now?
I'm just drinking a Tiger at this point in time. Just nice, refreshing. Good enough for this. And we've got some bag of M&Ms too, for some totally different taste and colour.
Yeah. So, if you are drinking along in the chat, do let us know what your drink of choice is right now, even if it is just a soft drink. But if it's water, please don't post, because that's just soft on a Friday night. So I am having
efforts all round for the water.
Yeah, V's got to have some kind. Even just put some sugar in it or something. It's got to be more than just water. But did have a look at the standings after that first race. Looking at it right now, and despite the fact that Higginson finished 6 places ahead of Lockie Locke, he only made up 12 points, with them finishing in 15th and 21st. With 40 points for 15th and 28 for 21st. So not a big points haul gain. So the gap is down to an even 100 points between the two. With, of course, there to be at least one more race lap here in this one. And Well, there's 2 cars between them this time around, or 1 car between them this time around, with Brap in between the 2.
Yeah, and also importantly, they're in higher positions on the grid. If they can keep where they are, they'll net more points. Obviously, still good for them to be. You want to be gaining more points. You want to be finishing in the top 10 as much as you can. I think we might be going green perhaps here, Lewis.
Yeah, you are seeing Noatara just hold back from the safety car. Lights are off. It's peeling in, and in fact, we're right on board the reverse roof cam. Noatara here. Safety car's in. The yellow's been cleared. Now we just wait for the green to go. It is the white flag. 1 lap of racing here, and away we go. And Higginson's got a decent run on Warwick, but they're already racing further afield as well. So here we go. 1 flying lap to sort the finishing order in this one. And big dive from McGillivray into 2nd place. And Higginson also looking to make a move as well.
Good move. He got it done. What seemed to be cleanly as well, which is super important. Great effort from McGillivray to get up into 2nd here. The battle continues. Darren Kemp trying to close in on Zach Brown. He's had a very good evening so far, has Darren, as has Zach, and he'll be wanting to hold on to this P3 battle behind Higginson all over Steve Warwick as well.
And what can Higginson make a move? No, Warwick goes defensive. So he's going to have to set it up in one of these later corners here. But McGillivray holding on now. Zach Brown all over the back of him. He's only got a couple corners to go, but he runs wide. But with that, Brown had to get out of the throttle, but he is going to go side by side. We saw contact here earlier. They're up the inside. McGillivray, Brown's going to try and go around the outside. They're going to race to the line, both sideways here. And I think Brown's just going to get him. He'll get 2nd back. And McGillivray still fantastic 3rd place. And then we'll have Kemp in 4th. Warwick holds on to 5th. Higginson in 6th. Importantly, Locke able to get himself up a position on the final corner. Got by Brap. So Brap was defensive into the final corner. That inside line proving to be not the line to beat. The outside line providing that better traction and able to get that move done. Brap and Bailey Hall able to recover late on as well to finish 9th ahead of Cheese in 10th. Brian Walsh, fantastic effort from him to avoid the carnage and finish in 11th. And I believe that's 2nd overall in Super 3 as well. So great effort from him. Darren Loughnane ahead of Ryan Smith, who had some dramas, of course. But important for Loughnane, able to draw some points on roadie. Taipan home in 14th. Justin Cecil in 15th. Roadie in 16th. Peter Thrower 17th. Jaeger 18th. Melody Smith 19th. Damo in 20th. With, Dostal, Cuppet and Matt Cecil all non-finishers.
Ooh, carnage in that one still, Lewis. I think overall a bit cleaner than the first race, although the first race set a pretty low bar, to be fair. But it's definitely some good racing in there. That move from McGillivray into turn 4 was quite spectacular, and the hard racing to the end for that 2nd spot on the podium was fantastic. Big shout out to Noatara. He has been racing excellently all night. He's taken just another one. He's just seeming dominant here. He's largely keeping out of the carnage, I think, Lewis, which is really good for him starting at the front, because you don't want to start too far back.
Yeah, he's got the speed, but he's also got the consistency. And even when he did fall back in race number 1 there, he was able to meticulously, get by. I think it was Zach Brown at the time. And Zach Brown, I believe, and then had to chase down Bailey Hall, or it may have been the other way around, I can't remember, but still had to go and pass some cars in this one. He did so cleanly, and then race number 1, he just needed to hold on that first lap, and then was able to just ease away and then not stuff up the restarts, which he did. So nice job from Noatara. Him and Zach Brown so far, I think they've been the only drivers that haven't really been caught up in anything. Every other driver's had a drama here or there, and they do have pace, but I think just those guys being able to not make mistakes has led to them having a very good night so far.
Absolutely, not making mistakes, staying out of trouble. It's the same thing every time, but it's the thing you need to do. And around here, it's so hard. It's just carnage everywhere, especially when everyone's battling so hard into just very tricky corners to go side by side into. The chicanes are horrid to try and go side by side into. Largely, you can't really do the beach chicane, but the first chicane is still, well, you can. It's well, you almost can't.
Yeah. So hopefully this third and final race, we do see no safety car, no more safety cars, and we can see just some clean racing throughout. It has gotten better from race 1 to 2. With I think the instance in that one, they were more accidental instead of there being adventurous attempts at overtakes being attempted. But I'm sure there will be some drivers aggravated from something that's happened. It's pretty easy to get aggravated when it's very easy to end up with, I wouldn't say a fatal race ending incident, but certainly one that's going to ruin your night. So that's race 2 done and dusted. Tara going 2 from 2. And with that, we'll take a short break as we prepare for race number 3. And welcome back to round 10 of the ASR Development Series from Surfers Paradise, where we've seen Noah Turra, I guess you could say, dominate. Zach Brown do pretty well. McGilvray also do pretty well, and after that it's been an absolute chaotic mess with incidents and safety cars and drama all over the place. And the championship points lead, just having a look right now, Higginson finishing in front of Locke again, but only by position. So he's gained 4 more points. The gap down to 96 points, with Cheese 257 points away. In fact, Darren Kemp not too far away from Cheese now as well. So we may see those guys battle it out for the final spot on the rostrum in the back half of the season, these final couple rounds. But yeah, some interesting racing so far. And
certainly has been, Lewis. Sorry to cut in there. And yeah, interesting with Darren Kemp. He's had a super consistent night. He's been very fast. He's finished third and he's finished fourth. So he qualified reasonably well, and well enough. But then he kept reasonably out of trouble as well and just kept it in the front, which is great for him. Catching right up. Third, definitely not over.
And also just ticked over to the team's points, and I tell you what, APK Sim Sports and Matt Cecil will be absolutely gutted with the way the end of race 1 as well as race 2 have gone, because they're not too, they wouldn't have been too far away from our first 2 runners had they been able to finish 3rd and 4th in race 1, as well as I think Kemp finished 4th there in race number 2 there. If Cecil had been able to pick up just some more points, they wouldn't be right out of the team's battle as well. But I think that DNF internet drama probably seals it. We do have HME powered by Kiwi Sim Sports now in the lead of the team's championship, 3,394 points, placed 3,286. So barring some kind of absolute disaster, has to be said, for HME, for HME, I think Luke McHugh and their battle, or Lockie Locke's battle to try and hold on to the lead in the team stand is probably over. But APK SimSport, they'll be looking to try and sneak their way now into 2nd place overall in the team standings. But this third race here, I've had 2 chaotic ones. Our championship rivals have been absolutely nowhere, at least in Super 2. They've been caught up in the drama here, Snipes. But I've also seen some action with the Super 3 runners, and Darren Loughnane and Rody also been up and down like yo-yos as well.
Yeah, yo-yo's a bit of a theme of the evening, honestly, Lewis. Many drivers involved in many accidents, but then many other accidents bringing those same drivers right back to where they were, or near there on, or thereabouts at least. So, and this has happened multiple times in races for some of these drivers as well. They've gone forwards and back, and forwards and back, and forwards and back. And you just hope that by the end of it you finish more towards the forwards part.
Yeah, that's for sure. Just looking at the point standings between Benjamin Rhodes and Darren Loughnane, and 1,086 plays 1,014, with Rody involved in a couple of incidents that he may be at fault for as the formation lap gets underway. So that points gap could still change, but it's getting tight in the battle for the Super 3 Championship. So with that being said, formation lap underway.
I've got you. Let's do this. Here we go. Noah Turra, well, he's been dominant all evening. I dare say he'll be the favourite to win this one also. Zach Brown, super consistent, nothing but seconds. He'll be hoping at the very least to keep where he is. However, he'll know that Reese McGillivray, starting out from P3, will definitely be one to watch. He's got a bit of pace in that car. Darren Kemp will be starting out of P4 for this final race here at Surfers Paradise. A super consistent evening for him, really pulling him towards 3rd in this championship. Steve Warwick starting out of P5, a good result for him. Out of P6, we have Nathan Higginson, and starting, well, just by him is Locke out of P7. P8 is Brap, and alongside him is Bailey Hall out of P9. I'd expect him to move forward in green flag conditions. Cheese is alongside Bailey Hall there out of P10. Then we have Brian Walsh with a
Oh.
fantastic result and into the wall out of P11. Just got to get it started early for Brian. Darren Lockman out of P12. And then we have Ryan Smith out of P13. He showed good pace. With Taipan out of P14. Fair bit behind there is Justin Cecil starting this race out of P15. He's been in the wars this evening. As has Rhodey starting out of P16. Peter Thrower has been up and down, starting this one out of P17 alongside Luke Yeager. Melanie Smith starting this one out of 19th, Damo alongside her. Brandon Doster will be starting this race and probably hoping to finish it out of P21. Hayden Cuppett starting out of P22, and Matt Cecil with a horror run at the end of the last couple races, starting out of dead last, unfortunately. Well, Lewis, it looks like we are geared to go for one last time. Let's pray for no safety cars.
Yeah, let's play. It's hope and pray. As looks like we've got a slight delayed start there. Can't see all the cars down the back, but someone possibly out of position there. But lights are illuminated. Shuey Man is ready. And away we go. And Higginson looking to split the gap, but nowhere to go. Good start from Noah Turra this time, and now the race towards turn number 1.
Yeah, will they keep it clean through here? It's a danger zone. They're going 2-3 wide at points in time. Someone's taking the escape route. The pit exit of Brian Walsh. He's trying to stay out of trouble, it seems. Not a bad effort, I suppose, in the end to do so as they press into turn 4. It's another danger zone here. Really easy to get into towards their quarter pedal, but largely the field gets through unscathed. And Noah Turra is stretched out to a huge lead for the amount of racing we've done. He's absolutely said sayonara to Zach Brown, who's dropped down Kemp behind him. Kemp interestingly, got past Gillifrey here. And the pack rider through the big team got Cecil very wide there, lucky to not hit a fence. But yes, a great start from Turra and Zach Brown, realistically still, to get away from the field. We look at the more compressed through turn 11 to 12. Pretty good first lap, Lewis. Pretty good first lap.
Yeah, from what we've seen so far, it's been fairly clean. Don't want to jinx it, but no major dramas outside Walsh having to take to the escape road or to the pit lane entry to try and avoid carnage. There's someone scraping along the wall at the exit of the final corner. That's Steve Warwick able to get a nice little getaway, able to fight off Nathan Higginson and sitting comfortably P5 at the moment. But McGillivray and Kemp battling out. Poor run through the chicane there for McGillivray. He's had a poor start, down one position. As you see, Higginson having a look at the back of Warwick. But Warwick more concerned about trying to get a good run and get by McGillivray. Had Cheese up 3 spots just ahead of Brapp. And Bailey Hall also right there. Lockie Locke's had a poor first lap. Decent start, but as the lap's gone on, he's dropped position. He's going to drop another one. Ryan Smith's gone around. And now he's got Justin Cecil right behind him. So possibly some drama here for a championship leader, at least on this first lap. Maybe just taking it easy. Maybe something more terminal.
Certainly hope it's taking it easy. You wouldn't want to lose too many more spots. It's hard to gain positions around the circuit. Surface Paradise is certainly a wild place to be racing. Walls everywhere. It's tight. He's creeping up the back of Smith here, and he's trying to find a way through, but it's going pretty well as he... Oh, Brett, bit slow. Bailey Hall, it seems, giving him a little bit of a love tap through the corner, trying to say, hurry up, mate, let's get on with it, as he watches people in front of him just slowly peel away. Brett holding Hall up here. How quickly can Hall get past? How patient will he be? It looks like on the brakes a bit early into one.
Bit of a lock-up. Ooh, that's an interesting line from Brapp. He might pick up a track cut from that. But, yeah, someone locked up there in their first chicane. The first two are relatively clear. Noah Turra 3 seconds clear of Zach Brown. Zach Brown 3 seconds clear of Darren Kemp. And Darren Kemp, he's got McGillivray right behind him. And then the rest of the field not too far away. So, bit of a train here. But the first two in a league of their own. Let's just see them bounce their way through the beach chicane here. No rollovers, at least... none yet, anyway. But, as you see, Kemp having a hold on around the outside. McGillivray does have the inside.
Oh.
And he's going to hold on around the outside nicely. It's going to compromise him, though, for the next corner. And it's also just going to, just compress all this pack up now. So Cheese is now formed right up to the back of Higginson. Contact McGillivray. I don't know if he had contact himself. But, he's in an awkward spot. He's going to have to Austin Powers it out of there. And... Oh, I think he's done it. Oh,
Safety car anyway.
Yeah, we do have a safety car from that. So we'll just have a look. Just have a look from the rear. See if it was McGillivray or if he did get a nudge. Or, yeah, just got an unfortunate nudge from Steve Warwick at the critical moment. And
I do wonder whether Steve Warwick might have been nudged. I'm not sure exactly whether it was.
we'll have a look here. So might as well. We are under safety car again. So where are we? So we had Nathan Higginson right behind Warwick here. No, just Warwick just a little bit late on the brakes and into the back of Smith. In real life, he'd probably get away with that. Higginson trying to do his best to fence it on his own. But yeah, in real life, that incident would just be a little bit of front end and rear end damage to the cars involved. But AMS is a bit temperamental with rear end contact at certain points and corners when steering lock and throttle and all that supplied. Unfortunately, at scene, McGillivray dropped all the way down to 13th. Not too bad. Having Austin powers it out of there as a safety car. There's a little bit of Tokyo drift after clipping the inside wall there. But that'll give Darren Kemp a bit of a reprieve. But now he's got Higginson right behind him, who's looking to get himself as far up the field as possible, especially when his championship rival's there in 9th place.
Certainly just wants to try and get up as close to the top step as you possibly can, right? That's always the objective. Move as far forward as you possibly can go. And yes, a little bit of an advantage over Locke there. A few positions. That'll actually be a fair amount of points there in that difference, noting how high up the grid Higginson is, and Locke just at the back of the top 10. So that'll be what Higginson wants and needs, but he won't be settling with that. He'll certainly want to push towards the podium and further.
Yeah, he certainly will, but at least for now, another lap under safety car conditions. And because I've had a number of them, we've pretty much ran out of content to really talk about. So it's just a wait and see game right now. Quick rundown through the field. Of course, Noah Tara, Zach Brown leading the way. Darren Kemp holding on to 3rd place ahead of Higginson in 4th. Steve Warwick in 5th. Cheese in position number 6. Good solid start to this race for him. Bratt in 7th. Bailey Hall in 8th. And then we have Locke recovering. He's got himself ahead, or back ahead of Ryan Smith. Justin Cecil in 11th. Up 4 spots. Taipan in 12th. He'll be hoping for a clean run in this one. McGillivray, though, he'll be looking to recover and try and get himself back into the top 10. Brian Walsh in 14th. Ahead of fellow Super 3 runner Darren Loughnane. Then we have Luke Yeager in 16th. Rhodey in 17th. He'll be looking to try and get his way ahead of Yeager and Loughnane, or at least Loughnane. Brandon Dostal, 18th position. Matt Cecil in 19th. He'll be hoping his internet is able to hold out for this one, and he gets a bit of luck and is able to get through the field. Damo in 20th. Hayden Cup at 21st. Peter Thrower, he's not had an ideal races 2 and 3 after being in a pretty solid position there in race number 2 before dropping it. Melody Smith in 23rd. And Noah Tara just back in the field up, which indicates Snipes we may be going racing.
Yeah, I have a feeling we indeed are there, Lewis. Indeed, the safety car lights go out. It peels it towards the pit lane. Noah Tara's been waiting the whole time. He's been waiting to the line. Can Zach Brown actually keep up with it this time? Surely he's going to do the same thing. Surely the strategy wouldn't change. And he does wait till the line, but again, Zach Brown just not quite there with him, and he gets a good start, and he'll start to peel away, you'd imagine.
Well, you can't really anticipate the start if you are right on the line. As we see the high shot as they go through the first chicane. A little bit of biff and barge, but looks like most of them getting through there relatively unscathed. And this restart here a lot cleaner than a lot of the ones we've had in the past. But this time Zach Brown's able to recover in the first sector there through turn 4, and he's not too far away from Tara. A bit of a slide through the beach chicane there, able to hold it though. As see a number of these cars taking a lot of liberties with the curbs. In previous iterations of the circuit, they probably would have found themselves out on the beach on their roof. But the big battle now here, Snipes. Higginson versus Kemp.
Yes, certainly. And
Oh!
don't forget, all the cars behind was... Ooh, it was certainly close there. Nearly drilled the back of him, but got it pulled up, I think, there. I suppose we're about to find out. It was certainly close. Oh, no, he did get him.
Did get him, but no gain or loss of position. Does have a decent run here, does Higginson. Not going to be close enough into turn 1 and 2, but we'd be hoping to set it up for turn 4 here. So go here. Oh, he's locked the rears. He's locked the rears. He's going to pick up a track cut, and he may find himself well down now.
Yep.
Oh, dear. What is he doing? He's just over driving this thing. It is frustrating as a commentator to watch. Entertaining, I guess, for the viewer at home. He certainly likes making things difficult for himself here. And now, once again, Brap's going to be between a championship leader sandwich. As Higginson drops to 7th, could have been worse, but now he's got his work cut out to get himself back up behind Darren Kemp.
Yeah, no doubt, not ideal, but he'll be still happy that he got out in front of Brap there. Brap proved to be a roadblock for some pretty fast cars here.
Ooh.
You know, he's
in the wall again. He's in the wall again, Higginson. And it's all started to come crumbling apart. Now Lucky Locke's going to try and go around the inside here. But he's been blocked off by Brap, and now McGillivray's followed through. So McGillivray on this safety car restart's made up about 4 or 5 positions, and is now into the top 10 as Brap goes around. And I don't know if he got a helping hand or if he just dropped it. So we'll cut to a short replay. No, he dropped it. He dropped it on the gear change. So it's all he's doing this time around. And now there's, once again, only one car between the 2 championship leaders. But McGillivray's been faster than both of these guys so far this weekend.
McGillivray's put in a really good showing for himself. He's been quick since he came in, but he's really starting to stamp his authority on at least the Super 3 field. Let's admit it, he's likely a Super 2 driver, to be fair, with this pace here. He's keeping right up with some really quick runners and driving faster than championship contenders. So that's certainly nothing to turn your nose up at. Great effort.
Would have been in a podium position had he not been turned earlier on in this race as well. So be clear of this had he not been turned. But still having a crack as all the runners there getting it sideways on the exit there.
I've noticed the last couple of times we've gone to the last corner there, Higginson really struggling with a bit of front locking there. He's not quite getting his braking point right, or he's braking a bit hard. You can't brake completely, noting you're turning a little bit as it is. The car's weight's not settled, so you've got to modulate it a little bit. But he's struggling to find it towards the back end of this race. And you don't want to be driving on tyres that lock up a lot.
Yeah, maybe the bias is a little bit too far. In some portions, it looks like his bias is too far back. Other portions, it looks like it's too far forward. I think the coming into that final corner, I think it's just a case of the right front is unweighted when you start to try and open up the left-hand section of the corner, and he's just applying too much lock and too much steering lock at this, or brake steering lock as well as brake power at the same time. But looks like he's getting back on track. He'll be hoping this battle pack of Steve Warwick, Bailey Hall, and Cheese continue to duke it out, and he's able to get onto the back of them. With Kemp looking like he's just extended away from this group. Now front 2, they're well clear. Brown did put up a little bit of a fight when I was looking at the live timing, but just starting to fall back now though.
Yeah, no, Tara, only a few laps to go for a clean sweep of the whole race weekend, pole position, 2 race wins, and he's got a 3rd in his sights. Zach Brown will be pretty pleased with 3 seconds, I believe, here. No, Tara's shown to have the pace, and it's okay to lose to someone who's really fast sometimes, but 3 seconds would be a fantastic result for him. And let me tell you, oh, wow, certainly on there. Bailey Hall making a move up the inside of 4 on Steve Warwick. Warwick just lit it up there, unfortunately for him, and fortunately for Cheese, who just gets to go right past. Well, unfortunately, just tries to get on it too early after the move, trying not to lose too much time, and lost a whole lot.
Yeah, just a little bit too much weight on that pedal on the right-hand side for Steve on the exit there. Just too eager to try and get that position back after Bailey Hall had a fantastic run through the first chicane, and he's already set his sights on Darren Kemp. He's right there with him, and he could find himself finally getting himself back onto the podium after being one of the quicker drivers in practice and in qualifying, but obviously a mistake in race 1 has led to a pretty poor night in the race results in races 1 and 2 so far. But here he can redeem himself just a little bit if he can just nip by Darren Kemp. But as we've seen in the past, Kemp probably the most difficult man to pass in the field.
Yeah, you know that Kemp's not just going to give you anything. You have to earn every inch with Darren Kemp. You have to be authoritative, clear, and clean to get by him, because he's not just going to give you anything. He will cover the line if he sees fit. Bailey Hall closing up pretty well under brakes, looking confident indeed. He's looking like he's got the pace to be able to get by, but it's, having the pace and doing it, two very different boxes of road.
We've also got Steve Warwick now falling into the clutches of Nathan Higginson and Reese McGillivray, with Ryan Smith not too far off the back of Locke. So still some championship. Oh, Locke cutting the chicane there. I wonder if that run will lead to Smith having a little bit of a look here. He's going to have to go defensive, is Locke. Smith going to try and hold around the outside, and he's going to get the traction, I reckon, here. And he's immediately gone defensive. And Locke's done him. So important for points in the championship as we see McGillivray and Higginson duking it out here. Obviously, McGillivray just wants to get every position as possible as soon as possible. Higginson now having to look in his mirrors is losing time to Steve Warwick, having to fend off McGillivray. So these guys fending off some Super 3 runners.
Super 3 runners applying the heat. They don't care. That's not them. They don't care if you're a championship protagonist. They're just trying to do their best race, and they've been quick, and they're showing that they've got some real class, honestly. So we've got some form drivers joining ASR. Great to see.
McGillivray.
He's up the inside. He's got it done.
And Smith looks like he made a mistake at the first chicane as well. That's allowed Locke to get back by. And now Higginson and Locke only separated by, well, they're together on circuit. As Bailey Hall trying to find a way past Kemp. He hasn't had the greatest of exit out of the beach chicane. And of course Kemp just holding that inside line. He's outbroke himself just a little bit. Hall's going to go underneath him here. He's just got to pull it up for the next corner. Kemp's going to go deep, try and hold it around the outside. If he does, he has the inside for the next corner. Once again, if you hold around the outside, you've got the inside for the following corner. And of course, has it got contact between the two? These guys are battling for sheep stations. It is a podium position, a couple laps to go. And one would think that if Kemp doesn't get a move done at turn 4, he's probably lost an opportunity of a podium.
Yeah, Bailey Hall's just going to be clean through this first chicane. The pressure's on. You don't have someone in front of you now. You've got to put a good one in. Darren Kemp all over the back. Cheese waiting in the wings for any mistakes that may occur. Bailey Hall looking clean from there, though. Someone wasn't. It's Darren Kemp, I think. Cheese now on the inside. There's been contact.
Yeah, sort of squeezed Cheese when he's already up the inside, and a little bit of biff and barge, but Cheese getting the move done. There's someone in the wall around them. That must be Smith. I don't know how you could hit the wall going through that straight, but there we go. And thankfully gets out of the way of Bailey Hall at the critical moment there.
Yeah, that's worrying if the other car's behind, like Cheese and
big dive. A big dive. I thought for the moment there was going to be a bit of contact, and Higginson's dropped it. Higginson has dropped it. He's
faster. That's huge for the championship. That is massive.
And he's stuffed. He's going to have to... He's been dinged in the past for unsafe rejoins, and he's a lot more cautious this time. And, it's caused a safety car as well. So, we could see further drama here, but Higginson, once again, his own worst enemy.
We're going to get ourselves another green light checker here, Lewis. One lap sprint to the end, basically guaranteed with the safety car now. So we go again. Now this one's been a lot more flat out running. Unfortunate for Higo, just let his right foot win it instead.
Just clip the wall.
Lose it.
Just clip the wall on the inside. Wasn't the right foot this time. We can't blame that. But this time, just turned in a little bit too much. And he's down to 16th. Championship rival now up into 7th. And
that's a big point swing. That's a massive point swing there in the championship.
Yeah,
From in front to behind by quite a way.
Yeah, that's a bit of a killer. All the little bits of work that he's been doing, as you see McGillivray on replay, they're just cutting the chicane. He will get a track up for that. So he'll be hoping he doesn't do that a couple more times. But yeah, that's a big sting in his championship hopes. Would have been able to finish ahead in all these races had he not made that mistake. But that being said, though, Snipes, I mean, we've seen some crazy things already tonight. We may see more drama.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, one lap sprints don't necessarily, just because the safety car won't come out doesn't mean that the carnage won't happen. We've seen it already in the first race.
We've got drivers coming into the pits. I don't know. We've got Bailey Hall.
They must have short filled.
And Reese McGillivray. Yeah, they must be thinking they're going to be short on fuel here. What are they doing? And this is what I don't understand. You're trying to be cute with the fuel. Yeah, so they're not taking... well, you might as well take tyres. You might as well take tyres at this point. So
you're not going to lose that much more to take the tyres, and you're going to have fresh tyres, but jeepers, I don't think it's going to, like, politely, it's not going to do a lot. The field's going to be incredibly compressed, and you're going to have to hope that some carnage happens in front of you that you stay out of, because that's just sent them right to the back.
Yeah, so this is why... this is why you don't try and play all cutesies with the fuel, especially in a series where it's been made apparent multiple times to the drivers as well. It's happened multiple times to the drivers that, as we hear someone hit the wall there, not sure what happened there, that it's green-white checker. And we've had green-white checkers multiple throughout the season, so getting cute with the fuels are only going to lead to, you know, you having a pit, and instead of you finishing in one position, you're going to finish right at the back. So just having a look here, there's Smith into the back of Kemp, bit of a check-up, and well, these drivers still don't know how to follow behind a safety car, despite there being numerous tonight. So yeah.
Kemp there in the end, just falling down a few spots. He was up in third, he's falling down to second, and he's got the likes of Lucky Locke and Warwick and Cheese in front of him, hard cars to pass. So it's his worst race. He's been super consistent all night. It still hasn't been a bad race from him, but unfortunately, mistakes where it matters, you fall down a few spots.
And looks like there's going to be another lap under safety car conditions. So let's see, Bailey Hall and Reese McGillivray have got up to the back of the train, but Bratt is still a fair way off it. So the fact that there's another lap, certainly a big aid to him. What will be a bit of a hindrance. We've got Melody Smith there in amongst the leaders between Cheese and Steve Warwick. As once again, people not realising the safety car goes very slowly through the first chicane, and you need to give it space.
Yeah, at this point, Tara's at least led for a few of these, so she gets a bit of a nudge from Seth Brown through turn 4. Tara's had to deal with the safety car probably most tonight, so he'll be in a reasonable routine by now, you'd have to feel. He's certainly had a bit of practice. I would hope and expect that we're going to be going green this lap, but who knows, we might get one more.
Yeah, we might, and if we do get one more, time will probably expire, and I wonder if there'll be maybe one or two other drivers that are a bit short on fuel that'll be running the gauntlet or will have to pull in.
Certainly a few more laps than advertised. The only saving grace is they're under safety car, of course, so they're much less fuel, but there's only been one safety car throughout this race before this, so it's been a pretty good effort from the field largely.
Yeah, and then of course that the reason for this safety car wasn't due to multiple drivers attempting silly manoeuvres. It's just an innocent mistake, turning a little bit too early and clipping your rear left, clipping the inside wall, spinning around and having to wait for the rest of the field to go by. So it's just an innocent mistake, that one, as opposed to silly driving. And looks like Tara just letting the safety car get away, so we will be going racing here. It will be 17 laps, a couple of them, of course, green-white checker. So we're into overtime, the final lap of the night.
Oh, what could possibly go wrong?
Yep.
As we look at the back from Noah's point of view, over his rear spoiler to Zach Brown. Reasonable jump from Cheese. Cheese has got Zach Brown completely. What's happened?
Brown's disappeared. His internet drama for Brown. It would have been but he's reappeared. So a game mission. He's knocked out Locke. He's knocked out Locke. Major dramas. And then Higginson at full speed in the pit lane hits Zach Brown. And my oh my. Just when you thought it was we were going to escape all that, we've got some more. As we see Lockton making, well, more dramas at the hairpin on the final lap. And I think Rhodey may have been the cause of that with Lockton. We'll come back and have a look here. So Zach Brown came back in at speed straight into the back of Locke, and then Higginson, I don't know, he may have made contact with someone and then was all fours locked up, and then just drama upon drama. And then down the back here, what's happened? Has Rhodey made contact? He has made contact with his championship rival and spun him around. So that's it for those drivers. Tara's going to make a clean sweep. Cheese is going to recover to second place. And Steve Warwick's going to find his way on the podium. Kemp now has got Ryan Smith and Justin Cecil all behind him, but he's dropped it at the final corner as Ryan Smith. And, contact between... there's massive contact. The track's going to be jammed again. Type band at full speed. The track is jammed again. These guys are driving at full speed. There's a yellow out. And they're still going at speed towards an accident. These drivers, I've never seen anything as dumb as that. Brian Walsh is home in 7th. And Brian Walsh, and we've got more dramas behind the safety car. So let's just, we got to take, I'm not going to go over the finishing order. We're going to look at a replay of this incident. So Smith just drops it. And he accelerated. He accelerated, and then instead of just wall riding it, just went straight back onto the racing line. Locke had nowhere to go. Cecil nowhere to go. Type Band nowhere to go. Higginson nowhere to go. And then all these drivers at full speed just coming in, and they're just coming in at full speed. And Brapp and Cuppet and all these other drivers coming through, but unbelievable scenes. Once again.
Oh my God, Lewis. I couldn't believe something could top that first race one, the pilot, but I think that's the biggest crash now I've ever seen.
I don't think that one's as big as the one in the first one, but my oh my. What? I've got to go back to that long camera. Sorry, I'm just trying to find that long shot. So just bear with me here. There we go. And let's try and find the camera. Interviews are going to have to wait. I'm going over this again. But here we go. And we'll go it in slow motion as well. So, obviously, Smith's had the spin, gassed it up while in reverse, and then turned straight back on the racing line. So he's going to get himself into a bit of trouble. Lockie Locke nowhere to go. Massive contact with Smith. Matt Cecil nowhere to go. He was also blindsided. Type Band had nowhere to go. He slowed down and just nowhere to go for him. Nowhere to go for Higginson. And then you've got all these guys coming onto the scene afterwards that they've had yellows out. They can see it coming. Brian Walsh has lost it on his own. And all these other guys behind him still coming in at speed. Somehow the orange FGX didn't have a bigger contact with the VE. McGill straight into him. And then you've got Thrower in there also at speed. Lockton in there at speed. Bailey Hall escapes it. Rhodey goes straight to the inside. Maybe made slight contact with Thrower. Thrower out of control. Makes contact with Brapp, who's in there at speed. Cuppet in there also at speed. Then runs into the back of Thrower and then speeds in the pit lane. So that's why he got that penalty. And then Higginson's trying to go reverse over the start-finish line from where he was and just runs into Peter Thrower, so he could get in trouble for that as well. Loughnane avoided that, and then Higginson spinning it around ends up losing position. He's got severe damage to Dostal, and Smith able to just slide his way over with a severely damaged car in front of Higginson. And then we have, who is that? That's Damo, I think,
Amo.
just behind him. And then we have Locke somehow ending, after all that, being behind Higginson. So
Oh,
in the chat, Shades of Spa 98 Carnage, this isn't the start of it. This is the second time this has happened, albeit different part of the track. So absolute carnage. Unfortunately, I think I'm going to have a lot of work to do in the next couple of weeks, having to try and sort through that. But that doesn't concern you, Snipes. You've got time for driver interviews now. My
I'm
voice
gonna
needs a
have
break.
to. Look, I'm gonna have to organise bringing some drivers up, so we will definitely get right on that. Give me just a few moments, Lewis, to get the right drivers in here. We're certainly going to be speaking to some of the drivers who put in some really good efforts um, tonight. Going to get Toa up here. We're going to have to get Darren Camp up here, I think. Give me just a few moments. Multitasking is hard.
That's all right. I'm seeing in the live chat that Coxie and GTARS do want to have a look at the Walshy view of that. I might actually bring up the replay after the driver interviews. So obviously at the moment you're trying to sort that out, but I'll go back and sort of try and source that. Yeah, just let me know when you do have all the drivers you want and need. Might just have a look and see if the point standings, well, they haven't been updated, and they're definitely not going to be final, or none of the results tonight are going to be finalised. There will be a number of incidents that will need to be cleared, looked at, and sorted. Yeah, absolutely chaotic night from the streets of Gold Coast.
Absolutely. We're just going to bring up some of these drivers right now to the right place so we can get these interviews rolling here. Give me a few moments to just drag some people up. Oh my gosh.
All right, so well, that's taken place. Might as well try and load into the replays. Try and find some things to talk about here.
Right. I've got a couple of the drivers in here, so I'm gonna just get started, and we'll slowly move more drivers up as we get through it. Nevertheless, we're going to start here with Zach Brown. I think Zach Brown's a great place to be starting this one. Zach, you've had what I would consider a super consistent evening tonight. You qualified reasonably well, and you've just finished in some excellent spots through these races. You got P2, basically what all of them, or at least two of them. Sorry, you got P2 twice. Can you run us through some of it from your perspective?
Yeah, well, I just tried being as consistent as possible, and I did that. And then later on, I started picking up the pace. Like I have that issue. All of a sudden, I've been having problems where I come in the race nights, I drop off the pace big time, and then it just comes back to me over the night. Um, but yeah, and then just being consistent keeps me up the front.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were putting pressure on for a little bit for Noah Tara throughout the evening, but in the end, I think an excellent battle in race two with I think it was Reese McGillivray up to the line there to reseal that second position after he got past you down at turn four. You've certainly been having some good battles in a carnage-filled night.
Yeah. Um, I just thought with that battle, let him go past and either let him make a mistake, which he did, or um, just see if I could get around him later on. I knew I had a bit more pace than him, so I got it done.
It's a pretty good effort there tonight from you there, Zach. I'm going to cut it short as we've got a few drivers to go through, but congratulations on good effort in a hectic evening.
Yeah, cheers, boys. Thanks for the broadcast.
All right, we're going to move over to Reese McGillivray, if that is all right. G'day, Reese. How's it going?
Oh, how you going, Snipes? Back
Uh,
again.
yes, back again. Now you're proving to be Probably a little bit too quick for Super 3 in my eyes, to be fair, but you're racing very, very well and largely have been pretty quick all evening. You felt like a bit of a yo-yo tonight?
Yeah, not sure what happened in race one there, but I ended up backwards into turn one there and made a bit of a recovery. And then race three, I just sort of made my own mistake, locked a brake, and then I just got tagged and spun around again. So it is what it is. Recovery drives are what makes it fun.
Certainly, a good effort to get yourself up to reasonable positions. Now, we'll go to that battle you had with Zach Brown. You got the move done into turn four, and it was a real good one. Do you want to talk us through that and what happened towards the end?
um, I basically just went, I dive bomb him and see what happens. If I can hold on and keep him behind me, I can hold on. And then ultimately, I just carried a bit too much speed through the final couple corners there and went side by side into the final corner and just got too swirly on the loud pedal and spun the tire and he got by me again. It was an awesome battle. I was chasing him for a while there and ultimately he was the better driver in the closing stage of the race.
Nevertheless, Reese, a fantastic effort to be battling right up the front in your Super 3 entry. I sense a promotion coming, if not before it, next year if you're still with us. So good effort tonight. Well done.
Thanks, guys.
All right, we're going to have a quick chat now with Ryan Smith. G'day, Ryan. How you doing today?
Yeah, all right. Good. How are you?
Not too bad, bro. Not too bad. Now, it's been a carnage-filled evening. You yourself have been a part of a bunch of it, but also throughout points in there, you've found some real pace. Do you wanna talk us through your evening?
Well, I had a not great qualifying. I reckon I could have done a better lap easily. Um, and then with the carnage that happened on lap one of race one, just kind of snuck my way through there. Ended up, I think, P6 at the end of lap one, and just kind of went from there. Um, got up to P4 at the end. Nearly had a podium. Just banged the wall on the exit though.
Yeah, easy to do, certainly. How'd you find racing around the streets of Surfers Paradise? You can be a bit tricky with a bunch of cars.
Yeah, it was challenging to try and focus on the cars behind and in front, and then not putting it in the wall yourself.
Yes, you took out a Super 3 race win, I believe, there in that second race. You were the leading Super 3 driver across the line. I sense a promotion coming for you as well. How have you found your first few rounds at ASR?
Um, yeah, it's been fun. Very enjoyable. Lots of incidents though. Need to work on that.
Totally. It's always the development series is here to develop drivers, but nevertheless, I think you've been very reasonable through your first few rounds, Ryan. Well done on tonight.
Thank you.
Okay, we are going to move over, please, to Steve Warwick. G'day, Steve. How's it going?
Hey Snipes, how you going?
Yeah, pretty good, bro. Just watched some interesting racing. It's been certainly up and down. Do you want to tell us how you fared this evening?
Lucky. I thought race three, I was pretty lucky. On the restart there at the end of the race, it was pretty easy. I just got the jump on a few people that had a few problems and just picked up the third spot. But race one, wow, that was something else. That having to sit there for an eternity after getting spun around and wait till everyone went past to be able to flick it around and join back on the end of the train. And then, of course, there was a little bit more carnage, and I was able to move up into about 13th, I think, and then race two started, and yeah, so I've actually just tried to just stay consistent and just pick up spots as I went, and that worked out in the end, I suppose.
Yes, well, a podium there in the last race, and you've raced reasonably well up to fifth in race two as well. I think just trying to stay out of the carnage, obviously a bit of a key around Surfers Paradise.
It's
Um,
that's really hard, but
yes, it certainly is, and it's something we brought up in the broadcast for a fair amount of time. Now, Steve, you've had a fair amount of pace. I'd say you've been quite unlucky this season. Looking forward is the goal, just to try keep it out of trouble and see how it goes.
yeah, that's it. That's
Cool,
it.
mate. That's always the goal, I suppose. Nevertheless, mate, well done. It's good to see you up there on the podium. Congratulations on your effort tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, I am now going to move over to Darren Kemp, if that's all right. If Darren is there, that is. Which he may not.
Yeah, I
Yes, he
am.
is.
I'm
Woohoo!
I couldn't get the bloody thing turned off, damn it.
Well, Darren,
Yes.
overall, a pretty consistent night for you, I think. How do you feel?
I just tried to keep out of trouble, to be honest. And yeah, the last race I got in a bit of a problem there, but yeah, I was holding them up there for a while. Wasn't the fastest all around that track, but just consistent really helps. And because I'm a good blocker, but I really would have loved to have had like a last round and actually go on the attack, but that wasn't to be. Maybe next round.
Perhaps not, but nevertheless, still overall very good results. You closed up a little bit, at least initially, on cheese. Do you think third might still be within your reach in this championship?
I don't think so. Jesus, good race. That's all. I'm happy with where I am. I'm just happy every week I can come and every couple of weeks I can come and run against these boys. It's great. Love it.
I think you've been super consistent tonight, Darren. Is there any final words you want to speak?
Yeah, well, I've had a good end of the season this year, and last year I had a good start. So maybe next year I might be able to make it all year.
Mate,
that sounds for a challenge. That's a challenge.
See you as one right up the front there, honestly. Very well done on tonight's efforts.
Yeah, thanks, team, and really good job on the track too. I just want to thank everyone for that. They've done an amazing job. So, yeah, everyone, thanks for that. Enjoy the race, and we'll see you next time.
Yes, Darren, thank you very much. Now we're going to move over to the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Brian Walsh. G'day, Brian. How are ya? Don't forget to unmute your mic.
Yeah, yeah. My heart rate's still too high. That's why. Yeah, I'm down now.
You're our most recent Super 3 race winner, getting through carnage at the end there and having a bit of a fun moment yourself leading up to it, but coming out as the front Super 3 car. How'd your night go?
I'm a two-hit wonder now, not a one-hit wonder. So, first race, everyone's explained, was a bit of carnage. Second race, it was like just try and stay out of trouble. Any Super 2 driver that was behind me, just let them go, and then, try and stay around Rhodey and Darren, who had some good racing all night, and I ended up finishing second, and then third race, it was just going round as I was until it came to the last safety car, and then Rhodey stupidly mentions, you're in front for a race win here, and then suddenly my heart rate went up to about 200 beats per minute, and I thought, all right, I normally don't block. I'll just block. I can't remember who it was behind me. Someone right behind me, and I'll just block. And then I blocked for that last half of the lap, and then it came to the line, and I couldn't see anything. And then they said, "Oh, you've won." And I go, "Yeah, yippee!" So I'm a two-hit wonder now. But yeah, the key to this race for me was just stay out of trouble, know who I was racing, and I didn't pick many spots up by actual race pace, but just staying out of trouble where you could, and keep flicking the damage off button. So yeah, that was good. So yeah, onwards and upwards to Pukekohe.
Yeah, fantastic. Oh, you love the track. Look, as a Kiwi, that's fantastic for me to hear, Brian. You feeling you might be competitive there?
I always enjoy it, but like I said, I'm not too serious about it. Just have a bit of fun, and I had some good races with Darren and Rhodey around me tonight, so it was fun. And yeah, have a couple of weeks off now, and then come back for Pukekohe.
Couldn't ask for a better attitude. Thank you very much, Brian. Well done on tonight. It's great to see you up here, mate.
Yeah, thanks to you and Lewis for the call tonight, and thanks for all the admin for the track. So yeah, I'll see you in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, bro, we will indeed. Over to Well, the man who dominated the evening, took pole in qualifying, and realistically was largely unchallenged for throughout all three races. Noah Tara, how's it going?
Yeah, not too bad, thank you.
For you, I feel like the races would have been just lovely, fun drives with little carnage, keeping it on the track, just no one in front of you, easy peasy, in a sense, of course, comparative to the absolute carnage that was happening everywhere behind you.
Yeah, I was just focusing on keeping it on the road and making sure I was putting in some consistent lap times while trying to gap the people behind me. Came into this race not expecting too much, to be honest.
You continue, when you do compete, Noah, to be putting it up and around the front. It's been probably your most dominant night that I can remember in Super 2, honestly. So congratulations for that. Is this actually your first clean sweep? I think it might be.
Yeah, it's my first time properly stitching a weekend together. Normally I crash out in one of them.
Well, I almost don't know what to ask you, mate. I think your driving tonight has been nothing but exemplary. Your pace pretty much unmatched all across the field, and I can't commend you enough. Well done.
All right, thank you for that.
Cool. Sorry, keep it a bit short and sweet there, Lewis, but well done again to Noah and all of our races, even though it's carnage at points in time. My lord, I do not envy the stewards after this one. It's going to be a busy weekend. But nevertheless, good effort to all the guys who got good results throughout the weekend.
Yeah, certainly some standout performances from a number of the drivers. Obviously, Noah being at the top of that. Zach Brown was definitely another one that had a pretty solid evening outside the last safety car restart, where I think things just out of his control there sort of transpired and led to at least the first part of that last lap carnage. But yeah, those two are definitely a pick of the bunch. And then you had other drivers throughout the night having some pretty solid nights and avoiding carnage for the most part. But yeah, with the nature of street circuits, you do get some of these kinds of absolute chaotic finishes, which is unfortunately what we've seen pretty much in each of the races tonight. But yeah, it just is what it is. Is what it is. I am trying to find and go back and find some onboard footage from the old Brian Walshmobile to go and find, obviously, what people were looking for a little bit early on. I think, yeah, here we go. I have managed to find vision from the Tiga onboard camera. So, in fact, I'll even put it in the right position as well here. So, just bear with me. So, here we are, vision from Brian Walsh Tiga onboard camera. So, there's one car. It's gone a little bit wide. He's almost died himself into the wall. Days of Thunder. Oh dear, he's just pushed these cars out. He's got carnage going on behind him. And then he's going to go through and claim Super 3 victory there. So that was what people wanted to see. A bit chaotic, a bit of work for the admins, but that's just street circuits sometimes, especially one as tight as this one. But yep, definitely from myself, Lewis Wedding, and of course from NZ Science. Thanks for tuning in to tonight's broadcast. Of course, next race will be at Pukekohe Raceway in a few weeks' time. Next week, of course, we do have the main Supercars event from the Surfers Paradise Street Circuit on the Outworld Broadcasting Channel. And yeah, that should be a very interesting one as well. 200-kilometre event. And if we have as many safety cars, we could see surprise winner and surprise results. We just never know. So tune in for that one next week on the Outworld Broadcasting Channel. From myself, Lewis Wedding, and from NZ Snipes, and from all those in the ASR community, we'll catch you next time.